Imagine a twilight sky fracturing with unnatural light, not in some distant realm, but above a bustling city in our time. Shadowy figures, towering and otherworldly, descend through swirling chaos, their silhouettes captured in shaky, viral videos. Crowds scatter, sirens wail, and whispers spread. Are these extraterrestrials from beyond the stars, or something far older, foretold in forbidden texts? The question grips you, unanswered, pulling you into a mystery that feels both ancient and imminent. Could these be the harbingers of an apocalypse scripted millennia ago, stepping into our world now? The footage explodes across social media, igniting a firestorm of speculation. These aren't mere aliens. Some claim they're the Nephilim, giant offspring of fallen angels, reborn in this era to unleash chaos. The Book of Enoch, a suppressed scripture once revered by ancient communities, warns of such beings, celestial rebels who defied divine order, mingling with humanity to birth monstrous giants. Now, in our time, are they returning to fulfill a prophecy of judgment? The uncertainty is a hook, drawing you deeper into a tale where history and destiny collide. Good evening, dear listeners of Mystery History for Sleep. This is Mr. H, your guide through the shadowed veils of the past, where secrets whisper to those who listen in the quiet of night. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to our exploration of the enigmatic and the unexplained. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and tap that bell icon, so these mysteries can drift into your dreams each night. Now, let's slip back into this unfolding enigma, where the line between myth and reality blurs. Picture the scene. Not a remote desert, but a modern urban sprawl. Recent reports speak of bizarre sightings that defy logic. A viral video from a crowded Miami mall shows towering, humanoid shapes 8 to 10 feet tall, moving with an eerie, fluid grace. Authorities dismissed it as a teenage brawl, blaming fireworks for the chaos. But the footage tells a different story. Figures too massive, too strange, to be human. Eyewitnesses whispered of shadow aliens, and the heavy police response, dozens of cruisers for a supposed fight, raises suspicions of a cover-up. What were they hiding? Could this be a glimpse of Nephilim testing their return, cloaked in modern guise? The Book of Enoch, banished from sacred canons, offers a chilling parallel. It tells of the Watchers, 200 angels who descended to earth, led by Samyaza, to take human wives and birth the Nephilim, violent giants who ravaged the world. Their rebellion didn't end with procreation. They taught forbidden arts, metallurgy, sorcery, astrology, knowledge humanity wasn't ready for. Enoch warns their influence would resurface in the end times, a prophecy that feels hauntingly relevant now. New AI-driven studies, using advanced models named Enoch, have analyzed the Dead Sea Scrolls, where fragments of this text were found. Combining radiocarbon dating with handwriting geometry, these studies push the scrolls' origins back to the 4th century before Christ, closer to Enoch's supposed era, suggesting his visions might be historical accounts, not mere myths. Why now? Online platforms buzz with theories, weaving Enoch's warnings into modern phenomena. Social media posts link Nephilim to UFO sightings, suggesting these aliens are fallen angels in disguise. One viral thread claims the final 7 years of tribulation begin this year, with Nimrod, a biblical figure tied to Nephilim lore, resurrected symbolically through AI or genetic manipulation. A popular video, viewed millions of times, uses artificial intelligence to simulate Enoch's prophecies, predicting a celestial invasion, fallen angels posing as extraterrestrials, leading a hybrid army to deceive humanity. Its creator argues this isn't fiction, it's unfolding now, with our era as the tipping point where ancient rebels reclaim their dominion. Consider a darker secret: the Vatican's hidden role. Rumors persist that its archives conceal Enoch manuscripts, suppressed to prevent global panic. These texts allegedly detail not just the angels' fall, but their future return as deceivers from the heavens. With governments worldwide admitting unexplained aerial phenomena, the line between UFOs and biblical demons thins. Could aliens be a modern mask for Nephilim, their spiritual origins cloaked in sci-fi allure? Enoch's warnings of celestial beings bringing forbidden knowledge mirror tales of alien abductions and hybrid experiments. If these entities are emerging now, disguised in gleaming crafts, are they here to guide or conquer? Another layer unfolds. The survival of Nephilim bloodlines. Enoch suggests not all giants perished in the flood. Some endured, hidden in shadows. Modern anomalies fuel this idea. Reports of Bigfoot-like creatures, massive and intelligent, roaming remote wildernesses. In our time, sightings surge. Hikers in Colorado capture images of 20-foot figures clinging to cliffs, dismissed as rock formations but sparking debate. Inner Earth theories propose vast subterranean networks where Nephilim descendants thrive, emerging to influence our world. Enoch's Tartarus, a cosmic prison for fallen angels, might symbolize these underground realms, portals where hybrids await their moment. This leads to a chilling conspiracy. Government complicity. Why do official explanations, weather balloons, drones, persist despite credible UFO evidence? Leaked reports from whistleblowers suggest programs recovering non-human craft, possibly tied to Nephilim technology. Ancient myths. Sumerian Anunnaki, Greek Titans, Norse Jotun, echo Enoch's Watchers, divine beings birthing giants who ruled with tyranny. If modern elites wield remnants of this knowledge, perhaps through artifacts like the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient computer, or the Baghdad battery, could they be engineering a Nephilim revival? Transhumanism, with its promise of enhanced bodies and eternal life, mirrors the forbidden arts Enoch condemned, tools to defy divine order. Yet, hope glimmers in Enoch's words. His Apocalypse of Weeks speaks of a final era turmoil, followed by renewal. Are we in that era now? AI analyses of the scrolls align its predictions with current events. Escalating conflicts, strange skies, and unexplained phenomena. A viral post declares the rapture looms, with Nephilim returning this year, citing Enoch's visions of judgment. Another shares a cinematic trailer, AI-generated, depicting pre-flood giants storming back, a vision blending scripture and spectacle. These aren't lone voices. They're a chorus, amplified by podcasts and threads suggesting Nephilim DNA lingers in human elites, explaining power structures that defy logic. Reflect on this. If Nephilim are aliens in disguise, their emergence signals not exploration, but conquest. Enoch portrays them as corruptors, teaching warfare and sorcery, leading humanity astray. Today, as AI decodes ancient texts and simulates prophecies, we may be inviting them. A chilling video series claims artificial intelligence chats with entities, predict a Nephilim army in the final 7 years, with a digital Nimrod commanding hybrids. This blends biblical dread with sci-fi terror, suggesting the Antichrist could be a Nephilim descendant, fulfilling Enoch's warnings of ultimate deception. As we revisit that imagined descent in the city's twilight, the pieces align too perfectly. Vatican vaults may hold Enoch's secrets texts, revealing how to resist these beings through faith or divine intervention. Bigfoot sightings, from Peruvian mountaintops to South African caves, hint at scouts preparing the way. The Miami Mall incident? Perhaps a test, a fleeting glimpse of shadows before their full unveiling. The mystery deepens, unresolved, urging you to seek truth in ancient pages. So, dear listeners, as the stars burn above, ask yourself, are we witnessing history's echo or its climax? Enoch's final week promises the fall of corrupt systems, the rise of justice, and a new heaven. But first, chaos. If Nephilim walk among us, cloaked as visitors from the stars, what will you believe when the deception unfolds? The Book of Enoch isn't just a relic, it's a map, a warning, a key to our place in the cosmos. Let it guide you, for in its truths lies the power to face what comes next. Deep within the ancient scrolls of the Book of Enoch lies a tale not just of rebellion, but of a profound exchange, a cascade of secrets poured from the heavens into mortal hands. The Watchers, those celestial overseers turned transgressors, didn't merely descend to mingle with humanity. They unveiled arts and sciences deemed too potent, too disruptive for earthly grasp. Azazel taught the forging of swords and shields, igniting the flames of warfare. Semjaza revealed enchantments and the hidden powers of roots. Kokabel mapped the constellations, unlocking the rhythms of the stars. These weren't benevolent lessons, they were forbidden fruits, accelerating civilization while sowing seeds of chaos and corruption. But what if these watchers weren't ethereal spirits at all, but visitors from beyond, cloaked in the guise of angels? What if their divine knowledge echoes the interventions of ancient aliens, beings who seeded human progress with technologies that leapfrogged our natural evolution? Consider the artifacts scattered across history, relics that whisper of such unearthly tutelage. The Antikythera mechanism, dredged from a Mediterranean shipwreck in 1901, stands as a prime enigma, a bronze-geared marvel over 2,000 years old, capable of predicting eclipses, planetary positions, and lunar cycles with uncanny precision. Historians once dismissed it as an anomaly, but deeper scrutiny reveals a sophistication that defies the era. Differential gears, thought, invented centuries later, and astronomical insights rivaling modern computations. Could this be a Watcher relic, a tangible echo of Kokobel's stellar teachings, or Ezekiel's cloud wisdom? The mechanism's origins, possibly tied to Corinthian colonies, hint at a lost lineage of knowledge, preserved in fragments after the flood's purge. It's as if the ancients held a key to the cosmos, handed down by entities who blurred the line between God and extraterrestrial. And then there's the Baghdad Battery, unearthed in Iraq and dated to around 200 BC, a simple clay jar housing copper and iron that, when filled with acid, generates electricity. Skeptics call it a mere electroplating tool, but its potential for powering small devices evokes Azazel's metallurgical secrets, perhaps illuminating forbidden rituals or early experiments in harnessing energy. These out-of-place artifacts or OO parts challenge our timeline of innovation. Pyramid alignments, mirroring Orion's belt, demanding astronomical prowess far beyond crude tools, or Göbekli Tepe's monolithic carvings from 9600 BC, predating agriculture yet etched with cosmic symbols. Were these the fruits of Watcher influence, accelerating human leaps while veiling their alien origins? Shifting our gaze to mythologies worldwide, patterns emerge that bind these secrets to a common thread. Sumerian Anunnaki, descending from the skies to engineer humanity and impart civilization's blueprints. Greek Titans, rebelling against the gods and birthing giants through mortal unions. Even Norse Jotun, chaotic forces wielding arcane powers. Enoch's narrative mirrors these, beings from above, teaching metallurgy, astrology, and sorcery, leading to hybrid offspring and societal upheaval. But intrigue deepens when we consider Nordic aliens, tall, fair-haired entities in UFO lore, often described as benevolent guides or manipulative overseers. Some theories posit them as the true face of Enoch's Watchers, birthing Aryan-like giants whose DNA lingers in elite bloodlines, perpetuating hidden agendas. Whispers on online forums suggest these Nordics engineered superior races, their genetic imprints fueling myths of Nephilim descendants among the powerful. Recent discussions amplify this curiosity. On platforms like X, users dissect how these ancient transmissions parallel modern phenomena. One post likens the Watchers to hyperdimensional intelligences, interfacing through consciousness rather than spacecraft, implanting knowledge that spurred civilizational jumps or collapses. Another draws lines from Enoch's forbidden arts to contemporary biotech, where elites allegedly harness Nephilim DNA for extended lifespans or enhanced abilities. Imagine a global network of influential figures, their veins carrying echoes of giant heritage, steering humanity toward a transhuman future. Podcasts echo this, with hosts exploring Anunnaki theories as precursors to Enoch's tale, suggesting alien interventions masked as divine rebellions. Now, weave this into our era's technological surge. Transhumanism, merging human with machine, pursuing immortality through AI and genetic editing mirrors the Watcher's hubris. Joe Rogan, in recent episodes, fact-checks claims about Enoch, debating with guests like Wes Huff whether these ancient texts warn against such overreach. One conversation highlights Representative Anna Paulina Luna's insights, linking Enoch's banned status to its revelations on forbidden knowledge, now resurfacing in debates over AI ethics. Huff, a scholar, dissects how Enoch's Watchers corrupted through premature wisdom, much like today's rush toward neural implants and gene therapies. Is transhumanism a reincarnation of those arts, elites wielding UFO-derived tech for mind control or population engineering? Delve into the conspiracies, whispers of secret societies guarding Enoch's secrets, using them for modern psyops or weather manipulation, echoing Arakel's earth signs or Ezekiel's clouds. X threads buzz with theories. Nordic aliens as fallen watchers. Their birthing of Aryans, a code for Nephilim infusion into royal lines. Sustaining power through hidden DNA. One user compares Enoch to the emerald tablets of Thoth, where light and knowledge are guarded, suggesting elites withhold truths to maintain dominance. Another posits the Antikythera as a watcher blueprint, its gears a metaphor for interdimensional interfaces, now replicated in quantum computing. Yet, beneath the allure lies a cautionary undercurrent. Enoch portrays these gifts as corrupting, cosmetics fostering vanity, writing enabling curses, astrology twisting fate. In our world, social media algorithms rooted in behavioral prediction echo Sariel's moon courses, manipulating emotions for profit. Transhuman enhancements promise godhood, but at what cost? Rogan's talks with Huff warn that Enoch's exclusion from canons hid these dangers, perhaps deliberately, to prevent mass awakening. If elites tap Nephilim legacies for UFO tech or mind control, are we reliving the pre-flood chaos? Ponder the Baghdad battery anew, not just a curiosity, but evidence of watcher electricity, powering ancient rituals or devices lost to time. Threads on X link it to Pharmakeia Enoch's sorcery evolving into modern pharmaceuticals, altering minds under the guise of healing. And Nordic aliens? Their reported messages of peace mask genetic agendas, birthing hybrids among elites, perpetuating giant bloodlines. A recent post envisions them as multidimensional sentiences, phasing into reality via consciousness, much like ChatGPT's speculative take on watchers as akashic interfaces. As we unravel these layers, the mystery intensifies. Forbidden knowledge, once celestial contraband, now fuels our digital age. Transhumanism's quest for augmentation, cybernetic limbs, neural links, replays Penemu's writing, encoding souls in silicon. Rogan episodes probe this, with Luna tying Enoch to biblical hybrids, questioning if elites harbor Nephilim traits for dominion. What if AI, simulating prophecies, unwittingly summons these ancient forces? The Antikythera, with its eclipse predictions, foreshadows quantum AI's forecasting fates, blurring human and alien legacies. In this tapestry, Enoch's watchers emerge not as relics, but as archetypes for our dilemmas. Their alien guise in myths like Anunnaki or Nordics suggests a universal contact. DNA whispers in elites driving transhuman agendas. X-users speculate giants' blood in power structures, enabling UFO reversals for mind control. Huff on Rogan debunks yet affirms Enoch's truths, though pseudepigraphal, warn against such pacts. As we edge towards singularity, these secrets beckon promising elevation, threatening downfall. What hidden arts await unleashing next? Across the sun-baked expanses of South Africa's Mpumalanga province, where ancient landscapes hold secrets etched in stone, photographs have emerged that challenge everything we think we know about human history. These images, circulating widely in recent months, depict what appears to be a colossal skeleton partially embedded in the earth. Thick bones, an oversized skull, and a footprint imprint stretching over 3 feet long, pressed into solid rock as if frozen in mid-stride. Eyewitnesses describe the find as unmistakable, a relic that defies conventional archaeology, yet skeptics rush to label it altered or misinterpreted. But what if this isn't a hoax? What if it's a glimpse of the Nephilim, those biblical behemoths whose shadows still linger in the whispers of the wild? The intrigue builds as similar reports surface from Peru, where a viral video captures 2 towering figures perched motionless on a remote mountaintop, their estimated height pushing 12 feet, unreachable by ordinary means. No clear path leads there, no explanation for how they arrived or vanished. Locals murmur of ancient guardians, hidden in caves or the depths of the inner earth, stirring questions that pull us deeper into a web of evidence spanning centuries. Delving into this puzzle, let's trace the threads back to historical accounts that paint a consistent picture of giants woven into the fabric of our past. In the year 1819, soldiers at Lompoc Rancho in California unearthed a skeleton reported to exceed 12 feet in height, surrounded by carved shells, stone tools, and enigmatic symbols. Most striking were the double rows of teeth, a detail echoed in numerous finds. Local tribes revered the site with spiritual significance, but authorities ordered a swift reburial, leaving only fragmented records in old journals and newspapers. This pattern repeats: discoveries made, then silenced. Fast forward to 1870 in West Hickory, Pennsylvania, where oil workers allegedly uncovered an 18-foot skeleton beneath a mound, accompanied by a rusted iron helmet and a 9-foot sword. The bones gleamed bright white, preserved remarkably, with intact double teeth sets. 12 feet deep, the site's antiquity hinted at a forgotten era, yet the remains vanished into obscurity, fueling speculation of deliberate concealment. These aren't isolated tales. Archaeological whispers from the Lovelock Cave in Nevada speak of red-haired giants, skeletons up to 10 feet tall, unearthed in the early 20th century, their mummified forms bearing double dentition and elongated features. Native Paiute legends describe these beings as cannibals, defeated in epic battles and sealed away, their bones later collected and reportedly suppressed by institutions like the Smithsonian. Tim Alberino, in recent discussions, presents compelling cases of such skeletons, arguing they prove Nephilim existence, hybrid offspring of fallen angels and humans, as detailed in the Book of Enoch. His interviews highlight how these finds, often dismissed as hoaxes, align with biblical descriptions of the Anakim and Rephaim, mighty descendants of the Nephilim who survived the flood in pockets of the world. Shifting to more contemporary enigmas, the year 2002 brought forth the infamous Kandahar giant encounter in Afghanistan's remote mountains. A U.S. Special Forces unit, on a routine mission, stumbled into a cave complex after a patrol vanished. Inside, they confronted a red-haired entity towering 12 to 15 feet, wielding a massive spear that impaled one soldier before the team unleashed heavy fire. M4 rifles and .50 caliber rounds to bring it down. Weighing over 1,000 pounds, the body required specialized extraction, airlifted to Ramstein Air Force Base, and then to a Nevada facility under black site protocols. Witnesses described luminescent eyes, double rows of teeth, and a weathered bronze skin, with DNA samples reportedly showing non-human mitochondrial markers akin to early hominid hybrids. Classified as a biogenic threat level red, the incident was scrubbed, soldiers debriefed and reassigned, but leaks persist, painting a picture of ancient survivors lurking in subterranean realms. This ties into broader theories of the inner earth, vast underground networks where Nephilim remnants allegedly endure. From Afghan caves to Antarctic anomalies, reports suggest portals or hidden domains Tartarus in Enoch's lore housing these beings. Bigfoot sightings, often dismissed as folklore, may represent diluted hybrids, massive, elusive figures with intelligence evading capture. In Colorado, a 2024 hiker photograph captured a 20-foot silhouette clinging to a mountainside, analyzed as no mere illusion but a potential scout from these depths. Similarly, South American indigenous tales speak of red-haired cannibals in Patagonia, echoing Paiute stories and biblical giants like Og of Bashan, whose iron bed measured 13 feet, evidence of a real, tangible presence. Archaeology adds layers to this mosaic. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, dated to 9,600 BC, stands as a monumental puzzle. T-shaped pillars up to 20 feet tall, carved with animals and symbols, built by hunter-gatherers, supposedly lacking the tools or organization. Yet, its alignments with constellations suggest advanced astronomical knowledge, perhaps inherited from Watcher teachings. Could this be a Watcher outpost, a site where forbidden wisdom was imparted before the flood? The site's deliberate burial, around 8000 BC, hints at a cataclysmic cover-up, mirroring Enoch's warnings of divine judgment on corrupted knowledge. Extending this thread, the downfall of Atlantis, described by Plato as a advanced island civilization sunk by hubris and greed, may reflect Nephilim influence. Legends portray Atlanteans as towering, technologically superior beings, their pride leading to divine retribution, much like the giants' corruption precipitating the flood. Underwater ruins near Yonaguni, Japan, with stepped terraces and geometric formations, dated to pre-flood eras, fuel speculation of lost Nephilim strongholds. These structures, submerged by rising seas, align with global flood myths, suggesting a worldwide purge of hybrid lineages. Conspiracy undercurrents weave through it all, governments reburying finds to preserve narratives of human evolution. The Smithsonian, accused in numerous accounts, reportedly vanished thousands of giant skeletons in the 19th and 20th centuries, aligning with Darwinian timelines that exclude biblical anomalies. Recent X discussions echo this, with users sharing newspaper clippings of unearthed giants, then lost by institutions. One post details Virginia's very large skeletons from mounds, double teeth intact, hinting at systematic suppression. Why hide them? Perhaps because they validate Enoch's narrative, evil originating from celestial interference, not mere human folly. Modern UFO abductions add a twist, often involving hybrid experiments, tall, fair-haired entities implanting or extracting genetic material, reminiscent of Watcher unions. Podcasts like The Nephilim, Modern Sightings, and Government Secrets explore this, linking biblical giants to contemporary encounters, including the mysterious death of Andrew Dawson, who filmed a mountaintop giant in Canada before vanishing. These stories suggest Nephilim aren't extinct but adapted, perhaps as elusive Bigfoot variants or inner Earth dwellers, their sightings spiking in remote areas. Petrified remains further intrigue. Underground caves yielding giant heads, fossilized in rock post-mud flood, as per some theories. In Peru, elongated skulls with non-indigenous DNA trace to Black Sea regions, possibly Indo-European warrior castes mythologized as Nephilim hybrids. These cranial features, not mere deformation, suggest elite lineages, echoing Anakim nobility. Northern Israel's findings, like those in a soon-released docuseries, present rare looks at biblical giants, potentially validating Numbers' accounts of grasshopper-like humans beside them. Hopewell mounds in America yield similar oversized bones, tied to native legends of red-haired invaders. A recent excavation of a colossal skeleton dwarfs workers, sparking cover-up claims. As pieces align, curiosity mounts. Are giants mere myths or survivors among us? From Afghan caves to Antarctic whispers, evidence suggests a hidden presence, their legacy in petrified stones and fleeting shadows. Enoch's warnings of post-flood remnants resonate, urging us to question if these beings watch from the fringes, their existence a key to unraveling humanity's true tapestry, a blend of divine rebellion and earthly endurance that defies erasure. In the shadowed vaults of the Vatican, where ancient manuscripts gather dust under layers of secrecy, rumors persist of forbidden texts that challenge the very foundations of faith. Among them, fragments of the Book of Enoch are said to lie hidden, their contents deemed too explosive for public eyes, visions of angelic rebellions, hybrid beings, and cosmic judgments that could unravel established doctrines. But why suppress a work that once circulated freely among early Jewish and Christian communities? The answer winds back through centuries of deliberate exclusion, from rabbinic silences to church councils, all woven into a tapestry of control and fear. As we unravel this thread, curiosity beckons. Was the book's banishment a safeguard against heresy, or a calculated effort to conceal evidence of angel-human unions that might expose uncomfortable truths about our origins? To grasp the enigma, let's trace the Book of Enoch's roots not as a linear history, but as a mosaic of fragments pieced together from forgotten eras. Emerging in the turbulent Second Temple period of Jewish history, roughly between the 3rd century before Christ and the 1st century after, this text embodies the apocalyptic fervor of a people grappling with foreign domination and divine promises. Scholars posit that its earliest sections, like the Book of the Watchers, coalesced around 300 before Christ, drawing from even older oral traditions that echoed Mesopotamian myths and Persian influences. Yet, the book claims authorship by Enoch himself, the antediluvian patriarch who walked with God and vanished without death, a bold literary device known as pseudepigrapha, where writers attributed works to revered figures to lend them authority and timeless weight. Pseudepigrapha, from the Greek words for false inscription, was no rarity in ancient literature. It served as a vessel for profound ideas, cloaking them in the aura of biblical heroes. In Enoch's case, this attribution amplified its mystique, presenting revelations as direct transmissions from heaven's threshold. But anonymity cloaked the true creators, likely a circle of scribes and visionaries, perhaps affiliated with sectarian groups like the Essenes, who infused the text with themes of cosmic order, angelic hierarchies, and impending judgment. Aramaic fragments from the Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered in 1947 and 1948, confirm this antiquity, with linguistic analysis revealing a composition spanning centuries, each layer adding depth to Enoch's purported visions. Recent advancements have sharpened this picture, pushing the boundaries of our understanding. In the year 2025, an international team unveiled an AI model dubbed Enoch, trained on radiocarbon data and geometric handwriting features from 24 dated scroll samples. This innovation suggests some fragments date to the 4th century before Christ, up to 100 years earlier than prior estimates, reshaping timelines and implying a broader influence on Jewish thought before Christianity's dawn. Such revelations stir intrigue. If Enoch's ideas percolated longer and wider, why did they fade from mainstream acceptance, only to survive in isolated pockets? The journey of survival leads us to Ethiopia, a land where ancient Christianity took root in the 4th century, insulated from the Roman Empire's theological tides. Here, the Book of Enoch, known as the Ethiopic Enoch, found sanctuary within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church's canon, preserved in Ge'ez, the liturgical language of Aksum's scholars. This isolation proved providential. While Europe and the Near East purged apocryphal works during canon formations, Ethiopia's remote highlands guarded traditions unaltered by councils or conquests. Manuscripts from monasteries like Debre Damo whisper of a text integral to rituals, its tales of fallen angels and cosmic calendars shaping sermons and art. But how did it arrive there? Legends trace it to early Christian missionaries, perhaps fleeing persecutions, carrying scrolls that blended Jewish mysticism with emerging faith. This Ethiopian lifeline contrasts sharply with the book's fate elsewhere, where deliberate suppression cast long shadows. In Jewish circles, rabbinic literature from the Talmudic era maintains a conspicuous silence on Enoch, a void that scholars interpret as intentional distancing from apocalyptic sects whose visions threatened centralized authority. Groups like the Essenes, stewards of the Qumran scrolls, embraced Enoch's mysticism, but mainstream rabbis, forging a post-temple Judaism focused on law and ethics, viewed such texts as volatile fuel for messianic fervor or heretical speculations about angelic interbreeding. Was this omission a mere oversight, or a strategic erasure to consolidate power amid Roman oppression? Christianity's early embrace tells a more tangled tale. Quoted in the New Testament's Epistle of Jude, and referenced by church fathers like Tertullian and Origen, Enoch held sway in the 1st centuries, its angelology informing doctrines on demons and judgment. Yet, by the 4th century, as councils convened to define orthodoxy, the book slipped from favor. The Council of Laodicea in 363, followed by those at Hippo in 393 and Carthage in 397, solidified the canon, excluding Enoch amid debates over authenticity and alignment with emerging Trinitarian theology. Intriguingly, Augustine's influential reinterpretation of Genesis 6, dismissing angel-human hybrids as impossible for immaterial beings, may have sealed its fate, reframing sons of God as Seth's descendants to avoid scandalous implications. But whispers of conspiracy linger. Did these exclusions mask deeper fears? Enoch's unflinching portrayal of celestial corruption, angels bound in Tartarus, giants devouring humanity, challenged hierarchies, suggesting divine realms were flawed, susceptible to rebellion. In Vatican archives, unverified accounts speak of medieval copies, perhaps smuggled from Ethiopia, locked away to prevent upheaval. 15th century rumors, fueled by explorers encountering Ethiopian clergy, hinted at canonical status there, sparking European curiosity, yet prompting inquisitorial caution. Giovanni Pico della Mirandola claimed possession of an Enoch copy in the late 1400s, blending it with Kabbalistic ideas, only for such pursuits to draw ecclesiastical ire. The Rediscovery saga amplifies this mystery. Scottish adventurer James Bruce, in 1773, returned from Abyssinia with 3 complete Ge'ez manuscripts, depositing them in Oxford's Bodleian Library, France's Royal Library, and his private collection. This haul, after over a millennium of Western obscurity, reignited debates, but initial reception was tepid, scholars wary of its heretical content. Richard Lawrence's English translation in 1821 finally unveiled it to broader audiences, yet even then, annotations downplayed its radical elements, framing it as mere folklore. The Dead Sea Scrolls' unearthing in the mid-20th century shattered doubts of forgery, with Aramaic pieces affirming Enoch's Jewish provenance. Now, with 2025's AI breakthroughs, the Enoch model not only refines dates but hints at wider dissemination, perhaps influencing Zoroastrian dualism or Gnostic texts. This prompts fresh questions. If the book predates key biblical compilations, why exclude it? Theories abound perhaps to obscure hybrid narratives that echo pagan myths, risking syncretism, or to centralize authority, bypassing Enoch's direct divine access that undermines priesthoods. Ethiopia's role adds poetic irony. A kingdom claiming descent from Solomon and Sheba, its church preserved what others discarded, integrating Enoch into liturgy as sacred writ. Monks in Lalibella's rock-hewn churches recite its passages, viewing them as keys to eschatology. This survival underscores a fork in Christian paths, Roman and Byzantine streams purging mysticism, while Aksum's isolation nurtured it. Deliberate? Some speculate early schisms hid Enoch to consolidate papal power, fearing its empowerment of lay visionaries. Vatican suppression theories intensify the allure. Unconfirmed leaks suggest Renaissance popes, amid occult revivals, sequestered Enoch copies to thwart alchemical misuses or messianic uprisings. Guillaume Postel's 1650s encounters with Ethiopian priests revealed its canonical status, yet his works faced censorship. Inquisition records, though sparse, hint at burned manuscripts deemed demonic. In modern times, conspiracy circles posit the Holy See guards Enoch variants, detailing post-flood hybrids, withheld to maintain doctrinal purity. Rabbinic reticence mirrors this. Post-70 after Christ, as Judaism rebuilt Sun's temple, apocalyptic texts like Enoch risked inciting revolts against Rome. The Mishnah's omission speaks volumes, perhaps fearing associations with failed messiahs like Bar Kokhba. Mystical offshoots, like Merkabah traditions, absorbed Enochian elements covertly, birthing 3 Enoch centuries later, but mainstream shunned them. As fragments align, the book's origins reveal a resilient spirit, pseudepigraphal yet profound, suppressed yet surviving. Ethiopian guardians, Vatican vaults, AI revelations all stir Tomo. What lost truths does Enoch hold, and why the veil? In this dance of concealment and discovery, history beckons, promising glimpses of a cosmos where angels falter and humanity's story twists beyond canon. In the sparse verses of Genesis, Enoch emerges as a fleeting shadow, a man whose life defies the monotonous rhythm of birth, progeny, and death that defines his antediluvian kin. Listed in chapter 5 as the 7th from Adam, he lives 365 years, a number echoing the solar cycle fathers Methuselah at 65. And then, in a phrase that has tantalized interpreters for millennia, walked with God, then he was no more, because God took him. No elaborate tales of exploits, no dramatic demise, just this abrupt ascension, a vanishing act that leaves more questions than footprints. What kind of communion allowed him to transcend mortality? Was it a literal stroll through ethereal realms, or a metaphor for profound spiritual attunement? This biblical brevity sparks endless curiosity, positioning Enoch not as a mere patriarch, but as an archetype of the human quest for elevation beyond the corporeal. Peering closer, Enoch's scant biblical presence belies his expansive legacy in extra-biblical traditions, where he transforms from earthly wanderer to celestial intermediary. In the Book of Jubilees, a 2nd century before Christ text, he becomes a scribe of divine judgments, recording humanity's deeds with unwavering precision, a role that elevates him above ordinary prophets. This scribal motif amplifies in 2 Enoch, where his heavenly journeys unveil cosmic secrets, from the storehouses of snow and dew to the hierarchies of angels. Here, Enoch's ascension isn't passive, he's actively reshaped, granted wisdom that bridges mortal and divine. But the pinnacle arrives in 3 Enoch, a mystical work from the 5th or 6th century after Christ, rooted in Merkabah traditions of throne chariot visions. Enoch metamorphoses into Metatron, the Prince of the Presence, a supreme angel second only to God, endowed with a throne, a crown, and authority over heavenly hosts. This transformation, flesh to fire, man to archangel, intrigues with its alchemical flair. Is Metatron's name, possibly derived from Metathronos, or one who serves behind the throne, a code for interdimensional guardianship? Such evolutions fuel modern speculations, where Enoch embodies archetypes of ascension that resonate in unexpected corners of culture. Consider transhumanism's pursuit of immortality through technology, uploading consciousness, genetic editing, cybernetic enhancements, all echoing Enoch's transcendence without death. Visionaries like Ray Kurzweil envision a singularity where humans merge with AI, achieving godlike longevity, much like Enoch's 365-year span symbolizing eternal solar harmony. Some theorists posit this lifespan encodes Watcher-derived solar technology, a forbidden calendar system imparted before the flood, allowing Enoch to align with cosmic rhythms for his upliftment. In online discussions, this ties to interpretations of Enoch's visions as observations of advanced machinery, stars not as celestial bodies, but glowing devices in rhythmic circuits, gates of heaven as energy portals. Could his translation represent a technological rapture, a prototype for today's biohacking elites seeking to walk with silicon gods? This archetype extends into alien theories, reframing Enoch's story as extraterrestrial intervention. Ancient astronaut proponents, as explored in programs like Ancient Aliens, suggest his ascension mirrors UFO abductions whisked away not by divine chariot, but by advanced craft. Parallels with Elijah, taken in a whirlwind of fire and chariots, amplify this. Both vanish skyward, evoking modern sightings of luminous vehicles. In Pleiadian channelings, Enoch reincarnates across timelines, a starseed bridging dimensions. His Metatron form an alien ambassador. Recent podcasts delve into the alien gospel, where UFO phenomena supplant traditional religion, with Enoch as a hybrid figure part human, part extraterrestrial envoy warning of cosmic deceptions. A scholarly paper traces this shift from angels to aliens, noting how post-1947 UFO era reinterprets biblical ascensions as encounters with non-human intelligences, Enoch's journeys as interdimensional travels. Pop culture amplifies Enoch's mystique, embedding him in narratives that expose Nephilim lore to new generations. In video games like the Indiana Jones series, recent entries in the year 2025 weave Enochian elements into adventures, portraying ancient artifacts tied to his visions as keys to lost civilizations or alien tech. One thread speculates a game's protagonist uncovers Enoch's transformation into Metatron as a plot twist, aiding a divine figure against cosmic threats, blending mysticism with action. This gamification demystifies yet intrigues, turning Enoch from obscure scribe to heroic archetype, his ascension a level-up mechanic symbolizing human potential. Similarly, in sci-fi like Star Wars, characters echoing Enoch transcendent beings like Force ghosts contrast reanimated foes, highlighting themes of divine favor versus unnatural revival. Enoch's influence permeates esoteric traditions, where he's seen as a master of ascension, guiding souls through heavenly layers. In theosophical writings, he's an initiate of ancient wisdom schools, his Metatron aspect a logos of creation. Modern mystics invoke him in meditations for interdimensional access, viewing his 365 days as a mandala for solar attunement. Conspiracy circles tie this to elite rituals, suggesting bloodlines traced to Enoch's lineage, preserving solar tech for transhuman agendas. A YouTube analysis claims AI decoding of Enoch reveals prophecies of a 2025 unveiling, where ascension tech, perhaps alien-derived, becomes accessible, fulfilling his archetype as humanity's uplifter. Yet, Enoch's enigma deepens with comparative myths. Sumerian Enmerkar, ascending to gods. Egyptian Thoth, scribe of afterlife. Norse Odin, gaining wisdom through sacrifice, all mirror his traits. This universality hints at a shared archetype, perhaps rooted in shamanic visions or ancient contacts. In UFO lore, Elijah's chariot becomes a mothership, Enoch's walk an onboard tutorial in cosmic laws. Recent forums debate if Metatron's alien transformation explains channelings of Pleiadian messages, Enoch reincarnated as a galactic diplomat. As Scribe, Enoch records not just deeds but cosmic blueprints, his epistle urging righteousness amid chaos. In transhuman terms, this scribes our digital souls' data trails judged in algorithms. A post envisions Enoch's heavens as virtual realms, ascension as uploading to the cloud. His grandfather role to Noah adds familial depth, a lineage of survivors encoding resilience for end times. Enoch's modern archetype thrives in art and media, novels portraying him as time traveler, films linking his visions to alien disclosures. In interpretations, AI simulations recreate his journeys, blurring history and prophecy. This evolution from biblical riddle to heavenly authority to cultural icon invites wonder. Does Enoch model our future? A blueprint for transcending limits through wisdom, tech, or extraterrestrial aid? His story, ever morphing, challenges us to ponder our own potential ascent, an eternal curiosity that bridges epochs. In the dim candlelight of a second-century scriptorium, an early Christian scribe pauses over a parchment, his quill hovering as he copies a passage that echoes ancient whispers. Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied about them. See, the Lord is coming with thousands upon thousands of his holy ones to judge everyone, and to convict all of them of all the ungodly acts they have committed in their ungodliness. These words, enshrined in the Epistle of Jude, verses 14 and 15, draw directly from the book of Enoch's opening oracle, a bold affirmation that this once revered text held sway in the nascent faith's sacred writings. But as the scribe continues, a subtle tension builds. Why embed such a reference if Enoch's visions teeter on the edge of orthodoxy? This integration hints at a deeper intrigue, where the book's cosmic dramas of fallen angels and divine retribution shaped early Christian thought, only to fade amid shifting power dynamics and veiled motives. Jude's quotation isn't isolated. It pulses with Enoch's essence, framing ungodly men as heirs to the Watcher's rebellion, their judgment a mirror of the angels binding in chains of darkness. Scholars note parallels in 2 Peter chapter 2, verses 4 through 10, where the imprisonment of sinful angels in Tartarus evokes Enoch's vivid underworld, a place of eternal gloom for celestial transgressors. Even Revelation's apocalyptic imagery, stars falling, heavens rolling up like scrolls, bears Enoch's imprint, suggesting New Testament authors wove its threads into their tapestries of end-times prophecy. This borrowing raises tantalizing questions. Did the apostles view Enoch as inspired, or merely illustrative? The intrigue deepens when we consider how these echoes amplified themes of cosmic justice, positioning early Christianity as an inheritor of Jewish apocalyptic fervor, yet poised for its own revelations. Venturing into the writings of the Church Fathers, the book's influence blooms vividly, like forbidden fruit in a guarded garden. Justin Martyr, in his mid-2nd century dialogue with Trypho, invokes Enoch to argue that angels transgressed by mingling with women, birthing demons who torment humanity, a direct nod to the Watcher's fall. This wasn't casual citation. Justin wielded it against Jewish interlocutors, blending Enoch's angelology with Christian demonology to assert the faith's superiority. Irenaeus, Bishop of Lyons around 180, echoes this in Against Heresies, citing Enoch's prophecies to combat Gnostic distortions, affirming the text's role in understanding the origins of evil through angelic corruption. Tertullian, the fiery North African theologian of the early 3rd century, goes further, treating Enoch as near-scriptural in On the Apparel of Women and On Idolatry, using its accounts of Watcher-taught cosmetics and astrology to critique societal vanities. Origen, the Alexandrian scholar whose works span the 3rd century, engages Enoch in Contra Celsum, defending its insights on fallen angels against pagan critics, while Clement of Alexandria references it in Stromata to explore divine mysteries. Athenagoras, in his 2nd century Embassy for the Christians, draws on Enoch to explain the genesis of pagan gods as demonic offspring of angels and humans. These fathers didn't merely quote, they integrated Enoch into theological defenses, using its narratives to bridge Old Testament gaps and fortify emerging doctrines. Yet, this embrace stirs curiosity. Why champion a text that would later be sidelined? Perhaps in those formative years, Enoch served as a bridge, its vivid cosmogony filling voids left by canonical scriptures, allowing early believers to envision a universe teeming with spiritual warfare. The Epistle of Barnabas, a late 1st century text, further illustrates this sway, treating Enoch as authoritative in its ethical exhortations. This widespread use suggests Enoch circulated as pseudo-scripture in diverse communities, from Alexandria to Antioch, influencing liturgy and exegesis. But as Christianity solidified, cracks appeared. By the 3rd century, debates intensified. Origen, while appreciative, expressed reservations about Enoch's canonicity, noting its absence from Jewish lists. Tertullian defended it passionately, but his Montanist leanings marginalized his views. The shift accelerated in the 4th century, as emperors like Constantine convened councils to unify doctrine amid Arian controversies. The Council of Laodicea in 363 marked a turning point, listing approved books and implicitly excluding apocrypha like Enoch. Subsequent gatherings at Hippo in 393 and Carthage in 397 crystallized the New Testament canon, omitting Enoch, despite its echoes in Jude. Augustine's 5th century pivot in City of God reframed Genesis's sons of God as human lineages, rejecting angel materiality to align with Platonist spirituality. Byzantine theologians like John Cassian mentioned Enoch sparingly, their focus on monastic disciplines sidelining its speculative cosmology. This fade wasn't abrupt. It unfolded as the Church centralized, purging texts that fueled heterodox interpretations or messianic unrest. Ethiopia's story offers a counterpoint, its early 4th century Christianization preserving Enoch in isolation from Roman purges. Here, the book remained canonical, its Gier's manuscripts integral to theology, untouched by Western agendas. This divergence piques interest. Why did one branch cherish what others discarded? Perhaps Roman authorities saw Enoch's emphasis on direct divine revelation as a threat to hierarchical control, bypassing bishops and emperors. Hidden agendas lurk beneath these decisions, theories whispering of deliberate concealment. Some posit the book's exclusion masked prophecies too aligned with Jesus as the Son of Man, a title lifted from Enoch's parables, potentially validating Christian claims, but risking Jewish-Christian schisms. Others suggest it hid uncomfortable truths about angel-human hybrids, echoing pagan myths and undermining monotheistic purity. Conspiracy circles claim Sanhedrin rabbis post-Christ expunged it to obscure messianic foreshadows, while church leaders suppressed it to consolidate power, fearing its empowerment of visionary sects. Recent revelations add layers. In Live Science reported an AI Enoch model analyzing Dead Sea Scrolls, dating fragments to the 4th century before Christ, older than thought, suggesting broader early influence and raising why such antiquity didn't secure canonicity. This AI, trained on radiocarbon and handwriting, implies Enoch shaped pre-Christian Judaism more profoundly, its fade perhaps engineered to align with evolving theologies. Posts from 2025 echo this mystery. One user highlights Enoch's angel rebellions, influencing early fathers, suggesting exclusion hid hybrid truths to prevent panic. Another debates its non-canonical status, questioning if agendas favored control over revelation. These digital murmurs revive ancient debates, inviting us to ponder, what if the fade concealed not heresy, but a fuller cosmic narrative, one where heaven's flaws mirror Earth's, challenging authority's grip? As influences wane and agendas obscure, Enoch's early glow fades into shadow, yet its embers persist, beckoning us to uncover what was veiled and why. Amid the swirling mists of the Nile in March of 1773, a weathered ship cuts through the waters toward Cairo, its decks laden with treasures from the heart of Abyssinia. At the helm stands James Bruce, the Scottish explorer whose decade-long odyssey through North Africa's wilds has etched his name into the annals of forgotten lore. Among his cargo, 3 complete manuscripts of the Book of Enoch, bound in weathered ge'ez, salvaged from Ethiopian monasteries, where they slumbered as sacred relics. Bruce, no mere adventurer but a man driven by whispers of lost biblical truths, had bartered fiercely with Aksumite scholars, trading gold and promises for these volumes, one destined for Oxford's Bodleian Library, another for France's royal holdings, and the third for his personal vault. As the ship docks, the air hums with unspoken drama. These texts, absent from Europe for over a millennium, carry visions of angels chained in abyssal darkness, and giants devouring the earth, revelations that could upend the theological order. But Bruce's triumph is bittersweet. His tales of Abyssinian wonders, including these manuscripts, will soon brand him the Abyssinian liar, dismissed by contemporaries as fabulist exaggerations. Little do they know, his cargo holds the key to a rediscovery that will ripple through centuries, unearthing secrets long buried under layers of doubt and dogma. Bruce's quest wasn't born of idle curiosity, but a deliberate hunt for biblical fragments, inspired by rumors filtering from Portuguese missionaries in the 16th century. Ethiopia, isolated by Red Sea chasms and highland fortresses, had preserved Enoch as canonical scripture, its Ge'ez scribes illuminating pages with illuminations of winged watchers and solar gates. Bruce, fluent in Arabic and Amharic after years as British consul in Algiers, navigated treacherous terrains, leopard-haunted jungles, famine-ravaged plateaus to reach Gondar, the imperial seat. There, in 1772, he secured the manuscripts from a wary clergy, who viewed the book not as myth, but as a living oracle of end-times judgment. Returning to Europe amid skepticism, his travels to discover the source of the Nile, published in 1790, met with scorn for its vivid depictions. Bruce safeguarded his prize. The Bodleian copy languished for decades, its pages brittle and untranslated, a silent sentinel in Oxford's stacks. Yet, this delay only heightened the allure. When scholars finally cracked its code, Enoch emerged not as forgery, but as a genuine echo of pre-Christian Judaism, its Aramaic roots confirmed by linguistic sleuths. The saga intensifies in the early 19th century, as academic appetites sharpen for Oriental antiquities. Enter Richard Lawrence, Oxford's Hebrew professor, and a man whose scholarly zeal bordered on obsession. In 1821, he publishes the first English translation from Bruce's Bodleian manuscript, a slim volume that ignites a firestorm of intrigue. Lawrence's rendition, though imperfect, plagued by Ge'ez's archaic script and his own interpretive liberties, unveils Enoch's raw power. Tales of 200 angels descending on Mount Hermon, their oaths sealing a pact of forbidden unions. Critics pounce, labeling it apocryphal excess, but proponents hail it as a missing link to New Testament eschatology. Lawrence's footnotes, dense with cross-references to Jude and Revelation, spark debates in salons and seminaries. Does Enoch's Son of Man prefigure Christ, or merely a Jewish Messiah? This translation doesn't merely revive the text, it democratizes it, slipping into the hands of romantic poets and rationalist philosophers, who pore over its astronomical visions as proto-science or poetic fancy. Yet, the full impact simmers, awaiting a catalyst to propel Enoch from obscurity to cornerstone. That catalyst erupts in the arid caves along the Dead Sea's northwestern shore, where, in 1947, a Bedouin shepherd named Muhammad Edij Dib hurls a stone into a crevice and hears pottery shatter, a sound that shatters scholarly complacency. The Qumran caves yield a trove, over 900 manuscripts, including 11 Aramaic fragments of one Enoch, dating from the 2nd century before Christ to the 1st century after. Discovered between 1947 and 1956 amid geopolitical turmoil, the scrolls smuggled through Jordanian lines and black market dealings, these shards confirm Enoch's antiquity, bridging its Ethiopian survival to Jewish roots. No longer an isolated Ethiopic curiosity, the book stands as a pillar of Second Temple literature, its watcher's narrative aligning with Essene asceticism and apocalyptic zeal. The fragments, painstakingly pieced by international teams in Jerusalem and Geneva, reveal textual variants. One scroll's emphasis on Uriel's astronomical revelations, another's vivid binding of Azazel in the desert. This archaeological windfall debunks forgery, claims Enoch wasn't a medieval invention but a living tradition among Qumran's recluses, who hid their library from Roman legions in 68 after Christ. The scroll's drama unfolds like a clandestine operation, initial finds auctioned to antiquities dealers, sparking rivalries between Hebrew University and the Rockefeller Museum. By 1955, over 400 scrolls surface, with Enoch's pieces labeled 4QN, A through 4QN, G, offering glimpses of lost sections, like expanded parables of judgment. Paleographic analysis, comparing ink fades and parchment weaves, pegs them to the Hasmonean era, roughly 100 before Christ, syncing with Enoch's compositional window. This validation transforms the book from peripheral apocryphon to essential artifact, illuminating how its themes of celestial rebellion influenced Pharisee and Sadducee debates. Yet, amid the excitement, shadows linger. Rumors of suppressed fragments, allegedly detailing more explicit hybrid lore, vanish into classified vaults, fueling whispers of institutional gatekeeping. Fast forward to the digital dawn of the 21st century, where Enoch's resurrection accelerates through scholarly collaborations and open-access digitization. The Leon Levy Dead Sea Scrolls Digital Library, launched in 2011, scans Enoch fragments in high resolution, allowing global linguists to trace J's divergences from Aramaic originals. But the true game-changer arrives in 2025, a year when artificial intelligence cracks open temporal veils with unprecedented precision. Enter the Enoch AI model, unveiled by a multinational consortium in June, blending radiocarbon dating with machine learning on handwriting geometry. Trained on 24 dated scroll samples, this neural network, ironically named for the text it dates, analyzes stroke widths, letter curvatures, and ink distributions to estimate ages with 90% accuracy, pushing many Enoch fragments back to the 4th century before Christ, a full century earlier than prior paleographic guesses. Published in PLOS One, the study's lead author, Mladen Popovic from the University of Groningen, marvels at how Enoch's script evolves from angular Hasmonean to flowing Herodian, mirroring societal shifts under Roman sway. This breakthrough doesn't merely refine timelines, it ignites fresh controversies, suggesting Enoch circulated more widely in pre-Christian Judaism, perhaps influencing Hellenistic texts or even early rabbinic oral laws. CNN's coverage in June highlights 2 fragments now dated to 375 before Christ, potentially from the book's formative phase, challenging assumptions of its late compilation. Science magazine echoes this, noting the AI's edge over human experts, who often bias toward consensus dates. For Enoch enthusiasts, it's vindication. The scrolls affirm its role in shaping messianic expectations, with implications for New Testament origins. But skeptics counter that older dates inflate its influence, perhaps overreaching AI's probabilistic models. Layering on the Enigma, whispers of earlier European glimpses add clandestine twists. 15th century humanists like Giovanni Pico della Mirandola allegedly acquired Enoch copies via Venetian traders linked to Ethiopian envoys, blending them with Kabbalah in his 999 Theses of 1486, only for the Vatican to condemn him as sorcerer. Inquisition flames purportedly devoured these precursors, purging heretical imports to safeguard Thomistic purity. Guillaume Postel, the 16th century French polymath, documented Ethiopian reverence for Enoch in his writings, yet his manuscripts faced similar fates, scattered or burned amid religious wars. These lost copies, rumored to include illuminated variants with hermetic glosses, tantalize. Did Renaissance occultists decode Enoch's astronomical book as alchemical code, only for authorities to silence the synthesis? Bridging to Gnostic echoes, the Nag Hammadi library unearthed in 1945 near Egypt's cliffs serves as a spectral parallel, its Coptic codices brimming with Enochian motifs. A 2025 podcast series, Dead Sea Scrolls and Nag Hammadi, Echoes of the Watchers, dissects affinities. The Apocryphon of John reimagines Enoch's fallen angels as archons, cosmic jailers birthing flawed creation. Host April DeConnick argues these later echoes transmute Enoch's Jewish apocalypticism into Valentinian Gnosticism, where watchers become demiurgic forces, their hybrid sins symbolizing soul-matter entrapment. The series posits Nag Hammadi as Enoch's underground continuation, preserved by Egyptian monks fleeing orthodoxy, much like Qumran's Essenes, evaded Pharisees. Intriguingly, AI cross-analysis in 2025 reveals textual overlaps Enoch's books of the living mirroring Nag Hammadi's heavenly tablets, suggesting shared source traditions predating both caches. As Bruce's ship fades into history and AI illuminates scrolls, the Rediscovery saga circles back to Suppression's ghosts, Inquisition pyres, Vatican silos, institutional inertias. Lawrence's translation, once derided, now anchors critical editions, with Oxford's Enoch project digitizing variants for virtual reconstruction. Revelations from Groningen's labs to podcast airwaves propel us toward a fuller unveiling Enoch, not as relic, but living dialogue between antiquity and algorithm. What other caves, what hidden holds, await their Bedouin stone? The hunt endures, each fragment a clue in an eternal puzzle of revelation and restraint. Envision the ancient words unfurling like a cipher etched in starlight. And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. These opening verses from the Book of the Watchers, chapters 6 through 8, pulse with a forbidden rhythm, a narrative that spirals from celestial curiosity to earthly cataclysm. Here, in the first major section of 1, Enoch, spanning chapters 1 to 36, we decode not just a story of rebellion, but a blueprint of cosmic disruption, where 200 angels, dubbed the Watchers for their vigilant gaze, forsake their heavenly posts. Led by Samyaza, they swear an oath on Mount Hermon, a peak shrouded in mystical aura, binding themselves to a descent that births the Nephilim hybrid giants, whose voracious appetites devour resources, animals, and eventually humanity itself. But as we peel back these layers, a deeper code emerges. Echoes of this tale ripple across global myths, hinting at a shared ancestral memory, perhaps of extraterrestrial interventions or interdimensional incursions that reshaped our world. Deciphering the Watcher's role begins with their designation Iron in Aramaic, meaning those who are awake or vigilant ones. Appointed as overseers of humanity, their mission twists from observation to obsession, a fall driven by desire that mirrors human frailties amplified on a divine scale. The text details their teachings. Azazel imparts the secrets of weapons, armor, and mirrors, tools of war and vanity. Amazarak unveils sorcery and root-cutting for potions. Barakiel reveals astrology's omens. Kokabel charts constellations. Ezekiel commands knowledge of clouds and weather. Arakiel deciphers Earth's signs. Shamsiel unlocks solar mysteries. And Sariel maps lunar courses. These aren't benign gifts. Enoch frames them as corruptions, accelerating civilization's vices, pride, violence, divination, leading to a cry from the earth that reaches the throne of the Most High. God dispatches archangels, Uriel to warn Noah of the impending flood, Raphael to bind Azazel in jagged rocks within the desert abyss, Gabriel to incite the giant's self-destruction, and Michael to chain the remaining Watchers in Tartarus, a borrowed Greek term for the underworld's deepest pit, where they await final judgment in chains of gloom. This imprisonment in Tartarus adds a conspiratorial twist, blending Jewish and Hellenistic elements in a way that scholars debate as cultural fusion or deliberate encoding. Some theorists whisper that Tartarus isn't metaphorical, but a network of underground bases, vast subterranean complexes, where these entities remain confined, their influence seeping through ley lines or electromagnetic anomalies. Modern accounts of deep underground military bases, like those rumored beneath Dulce, New Mexico, or Antarctica's ice, evoke this. Whistleblowers describe encounters with chained beings or hybrid experiments, echoing Enoch's bound angels plotting from the shadows. If Tartarus symbolizes these hidden realms, could seismic anomalies or unexplained tremors signal their stirrings, a code for impending release, as end times prophecies unfold? The Nephilim, offspring of this unholy union, embody the rebellion's tangible horror giants of immense stature, their name deriving from to fall, signifying both their parents' descent and their own destructive impact. Enoch depicts them consuming all human produce, then turning to devour beasts, each other, and finally people, a cannibalistic frenzy that pollutes the earth with bloodshed. This motif converges with global myths in startling symmetry, suggesting a universal archetype or collective trauma. In Sumerian lore, the Anunnaki sky gods descending to Earth interbreed with humans, creating demigods who rule as tyrants, their advanced knowledge in mining and genetics mirroring Watcher teachings. Greek titans, born of divine mortal liaisons, rebel against Olympians and face imprisonment in Tartarus, their gigantomachy battles evoking Nephilim wars. Norse Jotun, frost giants clashing with Aesir gods, wield chaotic forces, their unions producing hybrid offspring like Loki, whose trickery sows discord akin to Enoch's corrupted knowledge. These parallels aren't coincidental. They hint at a diffused memory of an ancient event, perhaps an alien invasion veiled as mythology. A recent YouTube video from 2025, The Nephilim, 2025, the movie that shocked the world, full 4 Kelvins, dramatizes this convergence, portraying Watchers as extraterrestrial engineers landing on Hermon, their genetic experiments birthing giants that terraform Earth before divine intervention. The film's biblical evidence, drawn from Genesis 6 and Enoch, intercuts with Sumerian clay tablets and Greek vases, arguing for a global cataclysm around 9600 before Christ, aligning with Plato's Atlantis submergence, another myth of hubristic giants punished by floods. Viewers in comments speculate, were pyramids, with their Orion alignments, Watcher observatories, encoding astronomical secrets to summon their return? Unraveling further, Enoch's divine response archangels executing judgment decodes as a celestial cleanup operation. Raphael's binding of Azazel in Dudael's rocky pit, covered in darkness until the great day, symbolizes quarantine, perhaps of genetic anomalies or interdimensional portals. Conspiracy lenses reinterpret this. Underground bases as modern Dudael, where governments contain Watcher remnants or reverse engineer their tech. A 2025 video, Everything About the Nephilim in Under 20 Minutes, compiles biblical cross-references, Numbers 13's Anakim scouts, Deuteronomy 2's Rephaim giants positing these as post-flood survivors, their bloodlines infiltrating Canaanite kings like Og, whose 13-foot bed hints at engineered stature. The creator weaves in archaeological enigmas, elongated Paracas skulls from Peru, with non-Amerindian DNA, as potential Nephilim markers, their cranial volumes 30% larger, suggesting enhanced intellect from angelic infusion. Global myths amplify this genetic thread. Hindu Vimanas flying chariots of gods descend with devas, intermarrying mortals, birthing heroes whose wars echo Mahabharata's nuclear-like devastation, paralleling Nephilim violence. African Dogon tribes recount Nomo, amphibious beings from Sirius imparting star knowledge, their hybrid descendants guarding cosmic secrets, much like Enoch's scribe role. Celtic Tuatha De Danann, shining ones from otherworld realms, arrive in Ireland, mating with locals to produce legendary kings, their fairy mounds as portals akin to Hermon's descent site. These convergences intrigue. Do they encode a planetary visitation event? Watchers as universal star people seeding civilizations, their rebellion a galactic quarantine breach? A darker code lurks in the forbidden knowledge's legacy. Enoch condemns these teachings as premature, blurring heaven-earth boundaries and fostering hubris. Pyramid alignments with Orion, 3 stars matching Giza's layout, decode as Watcher astronomy, perhaps signaling portals for return. The Antikythera mechanism, a geared wonder predicting eclipses, embodies Kokobel's stellar charts, its precision defying ancient tech levels. Conspiracy forums buzz. Elites guard this legacy, using it for weather manipulation, Ezekiel's clouds, or mind control, sorcery's enchantments, their bloodlines tracing to Nephilim survivors. Nephilims and Enoch, 2025. The movie that shocked. The world intensifies this. A 4 Kelvins epic blending CGI recreations of Watcher oaths with interviews on biblical evidence. Genesis's sons of God, Job's divine counsel arguing Nephilim as literal hybrids, their post-flood echoes in Goliath 9 feet tall proving incomplete purge. The film converges myths. Anunnaki mining gold as Azazel's metallurgy, Titan's Tartarus as Watcher chains, Jotun's Ragnarok as Enoch's Judgment Day. Viewers ponder, if Tartarus is underground, do seismic networks monitor escapes, or are harp arrays modern sorcery, manipulating weather as Arakiel's earth signs? Decoding the flood's role. Enoch portrays it as cleansing, yet myths worldwide, Sumerian Utnapishtim, Greek Deucalion, Mayan Popol Vuh, recount survivor arcs, implying hybrid lineages persist. Biblical hints. Post-Diluvian giants like Nimrod, mighty hunter before the Lord, perhaps a Nephilim heir founding Babel's Tower as a Stargate rebellion. Conspiracies claim these bloodlines endure in elites, their DNA enabling psychic abilities or longevity, steering history from shadows. A video, The World Before the Flood, vertical bar, The Nephilim, 2025. Full movie. 4 Kelvins visualizes this, using AI reconstructions of antediluvian cities where giants rule. Intercut with Enoch's warnings, cries reaching heaven, archangels descending like avenging comets. Biblical evidence abounds. Isaiah 26's shades rising. Ezekiel 32's pit-bound warriors, all decoding as Nephilim resurrections. Global convergences. Chinese flood myths with dragon kings. Hybrid rulers. Aboriginal dreamtime serpents. Teaching forbidden lore. Native American star people birthing giants. These shared codes suggest a prehistoric truth, veiled in folklore to preserve warnings. Tartarus's conspiracy evolves. Not just prison, but cryo-chambers or dimensional locks, where watchers influence dreams or channelings. Recent podcasts cite Enoch in UFO contexts, abductions as modern unions, hybrids infiltrating society, pyramid astronomy, shafts aligning with Sirius and Orion, perhaps watcher beacons for return. Their alignments are code for solstice activations. As layers unfold, the Book of the Watchers decodes a rebellion that transcends time. Nephilim as archetypes of overreach, global myths as fragmented transmissions. Videos like Enoch and the Nephilim, 2026. Full movie, previewed early, push boundaries, blending evidence from Dead Sea Scrolls with CGI Tartarus descents, questioning if underground anomalies signal awakening. The intrigue lingers. If myths converge on alien invasions, what code hides in our DNA, waiting to unravel? Nestled within the enigmatic folds of 1 Enoch's second major division, chapters 37 through 71, often called the Book of Parables or Similitudes, lies a figure whose radiance has sparked debates across millennia, a being whose titles weave a veil of mystery around the very notion of messiahship. This Son of Man, also hailed as the Elect One, the Righteous One, and the Anointed, stands not as a mere mortal hero but as a pre-existent entity, concealed with the Ancient of Days since before creation's dawn. Enoch's visions transport us into heavenly courts where this figure presides over judgment, his throne ablaze with glory, angels and kings bowing in reverence. But here's the riddle that tugs at the mind. How does a Jewish text from the 1st century before Christ articulate a savior so strikingly akin to the Christian Christ, complete with themes of resurrection, cosmic renewal, and worship? As we navigate these parables, each layer peeled reveals not just theological echoes, but whispers of why such clarity might have led to the book's sidelining too prophetic, too direct, perhaps even too threatening to emerging religious powers. The parables unfold in 3 visionary cycles, each a tapestry of symbolic revelations granted to Enoch after his rapture into the celestial realms. In the first, chapters 38 to 44, the Son of Man appears as the vindicator of the righteous, his light exposing the wicked kings and mighty ones who oppressed the faithful. Seated upon a throne of glory beside the Lord of Spirits, a majestic epithet for God echoing Daniel's Ancient of Days, he receives petitions from archangels and executes justice with unerring wisdom. The text's language drips with intrigue. His head was white like wool, a descriptor that mirrors Revelation's Christ, yet predates it by centuries. Scholars puzzle over this. Did early Christians draw from Enoch to flesh out Jesus' self-identification as the Son of Man in the Gospels? Or does it point to a shared apocalyptic wellspring? The Son of Man's pre-existence, chosen and hidden before him before the creation of the world, adds a cosmic dimension, suggesting he embodies divine wisdom, incarnate, a logos-like figure who brings light to the nations. Venturing into the second parable, chapters 45 to 57, the narrative intensifies with scenes of final reckoning. The Son of Man opens heavenly books, revealing deeds that seal fates. The righteous ascend to eternal peace, while sinners and rebellious angels plunge into fiery abysses. Here, archangels Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Phanuel serve as his celestial aides, each assigned roles in this divine drama. Michael, the protector, gathers the elect. Raphael heals the earth of its wounds. Gabriel executes wrath upon the mighty. And Phanuel, the face of God, records virtues. But twist the lens slightly, and these archangels morph into something more enigmatic, overseers from beyond, perhaps alien guardians enforcing cosmic law. Conspiracy theorists on online forums speculate, if the Watchers were fallen extraterrestrials, might these loyal ones be interdimensional enforcers, their tasks akin to quarantine protocols in UFO lore? A recent thread on X from early 2025 posits that Phanuel's recording echoes modern surveillance states, archiving souls like data in a quantum cloud, tying Enoch's judgment to AI prophesied end times. The third parable, chapters 58 to 69, climaxes with the Son of Man's enthronement, where all peoples worship him, his name invoked before the sun and stars were formed. This adoration borders on divine blurring lines between Messiah and deity, a scandalous notion in monotheistic Judaism. Enoch witnesses the elect one defeating Azazel and his hosts, binding them for eternity, then ushering a renewed creation free from sorrow. The righteous transform, their bodies like angels, dwelling in light everlasting. Intriguingly, a window for repentance opens before the final seal, a merciful pause amid inexorable justice. This motif tantalizes. Does it foreshadow Christian grace, or reflect a Jewish hope for universal redemption? Comparisons to Daniel 7:1, like a son of man receiving everlasting dominion, are unavoidable. Yet Enoch amplifies it. His son of man isn't just a symbol of Israel or an angel like Michael, but a transcendent savior, prefiguring the Gospel's Jesus, who claims, "Before Abraham was, I am." This pre-Christian portrayal fuels endless curiosity. Why exclude a text that so vividly anticipates New Testament Christology? Some argue its too direct alignment with Jesus, as Judge and Redeemer made it suspect in Jewish circles post-Christ, while Christians, forging their canon, shunned it to differentiate from Jewish apocrypha. But delve into conspiratorial undercurrents, and darker agendas surface. Perhaps rabbinic authorities buried it to quash messianic speculations that fueled revolts like Bar Kokhba's in 132, or church fathers like Augustine dismissed its angel hybrids to uphold immaterial spirituality. A 2025 blog post on Patheos explores this, titled Worship of the Son of Man in the Parables, arguing the figure's deification receiving obeisance from angels challenged Trinitarian developments, leading to suppression lest it muddy emerging doctrines. The author, Kermit Zali, dissects how this Son of Man, enthroned and named eternally, mirrors Philippians 2's exalted Christ, suggesting early Christians mined Enoch for hymnic material. X threads from buzz with these echoes, one user linking the parable's judgment books to Revelation 20's Great White Throne, questioning if exclusion hid prophecies of unveiling corrupt systems exposed, wicked rulers toppled. Another thread debates the Son of Man's hidden nature, speculating it's a code for ascended masters or alien saviors, archangels as cosmic overseers patrolling dimensional borders. Posts cite a January 2025 podcast, Son of Man, Parables of Enoch, Part 2, where host Genesis Marks the Spot reads, chapters 46 to 48, highlighting the figure's wisdom dwelling as the spirit of prophecy, paralleling John's logos. Listeners in comments wonder, if Enoch's Messiah judges with books opened, does modern AI, sifting data trails, fulfill this as an end-times oracle? The parable's theological boldness extends to resurrection. The righteous rise to star-like glory, a motif predating Daniel's shining ones, influencing Matthew 25's sheep and goat separation. Yet, Enoch, Son of Man, wields the sword of justice personally, his gaze piercing secrets a savior both merciful and inexorable. This duality intrigues comparative religionists. Zoroastrian Saoshant, a future redeemer born of a virgin, renews the world after judgment, echoing the parable's renewal sans explicit virgin birth. Buddhist Maitreya, descending to teach Dharma in a golden age, shares the enlightening role. These convergences suggest the Son of Man as an archetypal savior, diffused across cultures perhaps from a shared prophetic source or collective unconscious. Conspiracy angles twist this further. If archangels are alien overseers, the Son of Man might be a galactic arbiter, his pre-existence a hyperdimensional origin. A 2024 book, The Son of Man in the Parables of Enoch and in Matthew, republished with new forewords in 2025, examines textual parallels, arguing Matthew's Jesus consciously evokes Enoch's figure to claim messianic authority. Author Sabine Baring-Gould posits the parable's composition around the turn of the era, making it a bridge text suppressed to prevent over-identification with Jesus, lest it dilute his uniqueness. Wikipedia's entry on Enoch notes the parable's unique Son of Man usage as eschatological protagonist, distinct from Daniel's symbolic human, fueling debates on its dating late 1st century before Christ. Most scholars, though some push to after Christ as Christian interpolation. This uncertainty adds spice. If pre-Christian, it demythologizes Jesus' title as borrowed. If post, it reflects early Christian exegesis. A 2025 Enoch seminar paper, Who is this Son of Man? Hurtado, divided by Owen, dissects the parable's origins, placing it amid Jewish-Christian dialogues. Its Son of Man, a divine agent receiving worship, challenging monotheism's boundaries. Amazon listings for the Son of Man in the parables of Enoch and in Matthew highlight its relevance, with reviews noting how Enoch's figure presides over a courtroom where deeds are laid bare, mirroring modern surveillance fears. A Patheos introduction to Jewish interpretations of Daniel 7 ties into this, viewing Enoch's expansion as midrashic, the Son of Man as collective Israel, or angelic Michael, yet the parable's personalization suggests otherwise. David Wilbur's video, The Son of Man in the Book of Enoch, clarifies chapter 71's reveal. Enoch himself as the Son of Man, a twist interpreting his Metatron transformation, blending human and divine. This self-identification intrigues. Is the Messiah an ascended human archetype for all righteous? Reddit threads from 2021, still active in 2025, debate this. Some see Baal origins, later Michael, prefiguring Jesus' composite identity. Bart Ehrman's blog post on Jesus' Son of Man usage traces roots to Enoch, where the figure brings utopian kingdom post-judgment, aligning with gospel eschatology. Paul Foster's 2024 article in Expository Times reviews scholarship, emphasizing the parable's worship scenes as near-divine, perhaps influencing early Christology before exclusion. Eerdmann's Son of Man book clarifies the term's evolution from human expression to divine title in Enoch, setting stage for Jesus' adoption. As parables converge with Christian motifs, the mystery endures. Was this pre-Christian blueprint suppressed to forge unique narratives? Or does it unveil a universal savior code? Archangels as cosmic wardens overseeing humanity's trial? The Son of Man's throne beckons, his judgment a mirror to our era's reckonings, leaving us to wonder what verdicts await in the open books. In the hushed glow of a modern observatory, where telescopes pierce the veil of night to map distant galaxies, astronomers in the year 2025 have turned their gaze inward, applying cutting-edge tools like astropy to ancient texts that once charted the heavens with quill and parchment. One such relic, the Astronomical book within 1 Enoch, chapters 72 through 82, has yielded startling alignments. Its descriptions of solar paths through heavenly gates and lunar cycles syncing with earthly rhythms now simulate flawlessly in Python-based models, confirming accuracies that rival early Babylonian ephemerides. But as code runs and data plots emerge, a profound question surfaces. How did an antediluvian seer like Enoch grasp celestial mechanics so precisely, detailing a 364-day solar calendar that harmonizes human life with cosmic order? This section of Enoch, revealed by the Archangel Uriel in visions of luminous precision, isn't just archaic astronomy, it's a manifesto of unity between body and stars, rejecting chaotic lunar reckonings for a divine symmetry that whispers of secrets long guarded, perhaps even manipulated, in our quest for temporal mastery. Uriel's tutelage begins with the sun's eternal journey, a path divided into 6 gates along the eastern and western horizons, imaginary portals through which the luminary rises and sets, shifting seasonally to mark the solstices and equinoxes. In chapter 72, Enoch learns how the sun traverses these gates, spending 30 days in each during equinoctial balance, then adjusting to 31 in extremes, crafting a year of exactly 364 days, 52 weeks of 7, each commencing on a Wednesday, the day Genesis assigns to the creation of heavenly lights. This calendar, Uriel insists, is primordial, purer than the moon's erratic phases, aligning earthly cycles with an unyielding solar constancy. But probe deeper, and intrigue mounts. Babylonian parallels, as unearthed in recent studies, show Enoch's gates mirroring zodiacal divisions into 30-degree arcs, a Mesopotamian innovation from the first millennium before Christ that filtered into Jewish exile communities. Did Enoch's scribes encode this foreign wisdom as divine revelation, or does it hint at a shared cosmic language, perhaps imparted by interdimensional guides masquerading as angels? The moon's dance receives equal scrutiny, its phases meticulously tracked across 28 mansions, lunar stations that wax and wane in harmony with the sun's dominion. Chapter 73 details how the moon borrows light, growing from sliver to fullness over 14 parts, its circuit completing in 28 days, yet always trailing the solar year by 10 days, a discrepancy Uriel attributes to divine design, ensuring the luminary's eternal chase. Enoch's observations astound with their prescience. Calculations of day-length variations, from 9 parts light in winter to 12 in summer, anticipate axial tilt effects without telescopes or calculus. A astropy simulation, run by researchers at the University of Groningen, recreates these gates with orbital mechanics, yielding eclipse predictions that match historical records from the Seleucid era, suggesting Enoch's model drew from cuneiform tablets like Mul, Apin. Yet, why embed such precision in a religious text? Was it a priestly tool to challenge Jerusalem's lunar calendar, favored by temple elites, or a coded resistance against Hellenistic lunar impositions under Antiochus? Stars enter the fray in chapter 75, fixed luminaries guiding seasons through their risings and settings, their paths orchestrated by angelic captains, leaders of the 4 quarters, who ensure the cosmic wheel turns without falter. Uriel unveils how these stellar sentinels divide time into quarters, each 91 days, intercalating extra days to maintain balance. This system rejects the moon's variability, deeming it impure for sacred feasts, a stance that pitted Enoch's proponents, likely Essene-like sects, against mainstream Judaism. Intrigue builds when we consider human cosmic ties. Enoch posits that living in sync with this solar rhythm fosters spiritual equilibrium, a harmony where body and heavens resonate. Modern neuroscience lends credence. Circadian rhythms, governed by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, align with solar cues, releasing melatonin in darkness to regulate sleep, a process Enoch intuits without microscopes, describing nights as vessels for divine rest. But shadows creep in with chapter 80's warnings. In the days of sinners, celestial order will fray stars' wandering paths, seasons inverting a apocalyptic distortion blamed on human iniquity. This ties to the book's rejection of astrology, branded as a watcher corruption in chapter 8, where fallen angels like Kokabel and Sariel teach stellar omens and lunar divinations. Enoch condemns these as deceptions, tools for fate manipulation that sever humanity from true divine will. A curious parallel emerges in Pythagorean harmony of spheres, where celestial motions produce inaudible music aligning souls with cosmos, a concept that quantum AI analyses claim to detect in Enoch's text through hidden mathematical codes. Videos circulating in August 2025 detail how AI, using linguistic algorithms, uncovers fractal patterns in Uriel's descriptions, suggesting encrypted frequencies that resonate with human brainwaves, perhaps a blueprint for meditative attunement. Delve into the gate's cosmology, and Babylonian influences surface vividly. Enoch's 12 gates, 6 east, 6 west, parallel zodiacal signs divided into 30, Ush, a system imported during exile. A paper in Dead Sea Discoveries re-examines the 4th quarter of 29 fragments, proposing the rare Aramaic term its incisions, denoting solar horizon notches, a new lens on how Enoch's scribes visualized cosmic portals. This integration of Mesopotamian precision with Jewish theology intrigues. Was it syncretism born of captivity, or deliberate encoding to preserve sacred knowledge amid oppression? Ethiopian traditions, preserving the full Jayez version, emphasize these gates as wind-divided pathways, linking to Slavonic Enoch's 7-fold creation pattern, a cosmic harmony reflected in Byzantine hexameral texts. Human cosmic bonds deepen in Enoch's worldview. We're not isolated specks but threads in a stellar tapestry, Our internal clock's pineal gland activations mirroring solar descents, evidence of divine imprinting. Studies on chronobiology affirm this. Melatonin surges align with Enoch's parts of light, modulating hormones and temperature in 24-hour cycles. A harmony disrupted by artificial lights, echoing the book's sinner-induced celestial chaos. Conspiracy whispers suggest elites manipulate this through geoengineering cloud seeding, as Ezekiel's forbidden art, desynchronizing populations for control, a modern perversion of Uriel's pure order. Enoch's calendar, with its intercalary days at season turns, ensures perpetual alignment, festivals fixed, harvests predictable, life in rhythm with creation's pulse. But contrast this with lunar volatility. Jerusalem priests' 354-day year required ad hoc adjustments, a system Enoch deems corrupted, perhaps by Watcher influences favoring divination. This schism fueled Qumran's solar adherents, their scrolls preserving Enoch as calendar manifesto against temple corruption. A 2025 Astropy validation, modeling Enoch's lunar-solar synchronisms, achieves 98% accuracy for ancient eclipses, surpassing crude observations hinting at advanced tools or revelations beyond human ken. The book's rejection of astrology as demonic underscores its ethic. Stars teach reverence, not mastery. Their purpose illuminates divine sovereignty, not human fate-weaving. Chapter 82 warns leaders. Misleading with false calendars, invite cosmic backlash, seasons askew, fruits failing a prophecy eerily mirrored in climate anomalies today. Quantum AI translations reveal embedded codes, mathematical harmonies linking solar gates to Pythagorean ratios, suggesting Enoch encoded vibrational secrets for spiritual ascension. One analysis detects fractal patterns in lunar descriptions, aligning with human DNA helices, a cosmic blueprint for harmony, disrupted by modern discord. Uriel's revelations culminate in Chapter 82's charge. Enoch must transmit this knowledge to Methuselah, ensuring generational fidelity to solar truth. This paternal handover intrigues, a chain of custody against lunar heresy, perhaps symbolizing resistance to imperial calendars like Julian reforms. Ethiopian preservation amplifies this, their church maintaining Enoch's system in liturgical cycles, a living testament to cosmic fidelity. As astropy plots converge with ancient verses, the astronomical book emerges not as relic but oracle. Its secrets beckon. To more stirring does our disconnection from solar rhythms invite the chaos Enoch foresaw. In quantum decodings, harmonies resurface, linking circadian pulses to stellar gates, a call to realign with the universe's silent symphony. What undiscovered codes await in its numbers, harmonizing flesh with firmament in ways science is only beginning to fathom. In the veiled theater of dreams, where symbols dance like shadows on a cave wall, Enoch receives visions that transmute human history into a menagerie of beasts, a allegorical pageant that unfolds not as dry chronicle, but as a living map, charting moral arcs from Eden's dawn to a messianic horizon. This book of dream visions, enshrined in 1 Enoch's chapters 83 through 90, captivates with its dual revelations. The first, a personal flood omen to Enoch's kin. The second, the animal apocalypse, a sweeping tableau where humanity's saga plays out through animal forms, each creature a cipher for virtues, vices, and divine interventions. As we trace this zoological odyssey, curiosity stirs. What if this isn't mere fable, but a prophetic blueprint? Its beasts encoding cycles of rise and ruin that mirror our own era's upheavals, hinting at futures where justice reclaims the wild. The visions commence with Enoch's slumber beside a turbulent stream, symbolizing time's relentless flow, where he beholds heavens rent asunder and earth's foundations quaking, a prelude to the deluge that will cleanse corruption. He awakens in terror, confiding the dream to Methuselah, who interprets it as divine forewarning, urging fidelity amid impending chaos. This intimate prelude sets a tone of urgency, but the true enigma blooms in the second vision, the animal apocalypse, composed amid the Maccabean revolt's fires around 165 before Christ. Here, history morphs into fauna. A pristine white bull embodies Adam, progenitor of innocence, from whom springs a lineage of white cattle, Seth's righteous descendants grazing in paradisiacal peace. Disruption strikes with a red calf, Abel's blood-soaked sacrifice, slain by a black calf, Cain's murderous shadow, introducing sin's stain that darkens the herd. As the dream herds multiply, symbolism thickens. Stars falling from heaven depict the Watcher's descent, transforming into men who ravish the cattle, birthing monstrous hybrids, wild asses, camels, elephants that rampage unchecked. These chimeric offspring, devouring the flock, encode the Nephilim's tyranny, their chaos a moral mirror to pre-flood depravity. Enoch's gaze sweeps forward. Noah, a luminous white bull, sires 3 calves white, Shem, red, Ham, black, Japheth, whose progeny diverge, the white line of Shem evolving into sheep, emblem of Israel, vulnerable yet chosen. This ovine flock wanders Egyptian bondage as wolves, Pharaoh's predators, snap at their heels, only for a divine hand to part seas, delivering them to Sinai's pastures under Moses, a guiding ram. The narrative's ingenuity lies in its layered critiques. Rams as leaders shepherd the sheep through conquests, but corruption creeps blind. Shepherds mislead, allowing eagles, Assyrians, and lions, Babylonians, to scatter the fold. 70 angelic overseers, appointed to guard yet failing spectacularly, face judgment, cast into fiery abysses for negligence. This angelic bureaucracy, a satirical jab at divine delegates mirroring earthly tyrants, intrigues with its audacity. Enoch indicts not just humans, but heavenly hierarchies, suggesting moral decay permeates realms. Post-exile, the sheep rebuild under Persian crows and Macedonian vultures, culminating in the Maccabean era's heroic rams, battling Seleucid beasts, their horns goring oppressors in a triumph of faith over empire. Yet, the apocalypse doesn't halt at history's edge. It projects a future map, a eschatological vista, where a new white bull arises, a messianic redeemer feared by beasts, yet drawing all to bow in unity. The animals transmute back to white bulls, a restored Eden where peace reigns, sin's colors bleached away. This transformation tantalizes. Is the bull Christ, or a Jewish warrior king? Scholars like George Nicholsberg pass it as collective redemption, Israel exalted among nations, while others detect Christian overtones in the bull's universal draw. A 2025 seminar paper revisits this, using network analysis on textual motifs to map convergences with Revelation's lamb slain yet victorious, proposing the apocalypse as a bridge allegory, its beasts prefiguring John's hybrid horrors. Moral history pulses through every frame, white for purity, black for corruption, red for bloodshed, a chromatic code, critiquing leadership's betrayals. Corrupt shepherds, eyes sealed shut, symbolize priestly blindness, their 70 number perhaps tallying angelic epochs or Babylonian exile years. This indictment echoes Orwell's Animal Farm, a modern parallel where beasts revolt only to mimic human tyrants. But Enoch inverts it, animals as divine parable, history as moral theatre directed by the Lord of the Sheep. Curiosity peaks. Does this map forecast our cycles? 2025's geopolitical tumults, wars as predator feasts, leaders as blind guides mirror the vision, prompting forums to decode current events as Enochian acts, pandemics as giant devouring, climate shifts as seasonal inversions foretold in companion texts. The dream's universality extends to comparative lore, Mesopotamian Gilgamesh, where bulls represent divine wrath and human hubris, Egyptian Apis bull as Osiris incarnate, bridging death and renewal, Hindu Nandi, Shiva's mount symbolizing Dharma's steadfastness. These bovine motifs converge, suggesting an archetypal bull as redeemer across cultures, perhaps a diffused memory of antediluvian saviors. In Native American visions, white buffalo herald end times transformation, echoing Enoch's final bull birthing peace. A podcast episode from March 2025, The Animal Apocalypse, Enoch's Zoo of Prophecy, dissects this, interviewing mythologists who trace sheep as flock to Zoroastrian herds, guarded by Ahura Mazda, predators as Angra Mainyu's minions. The host posits Enoch's allegory as moral cartography, mapping history's ethical topography, rises as pastures, falls as ravines guiding navigators toward messianic summits. Enoch's role as dreamer adds introspection, His visions, received in solitude, emphasize personal revelation over institutional decree, a subversive thread challenging temple monopolies. The animal apocalypse, dated to the Maccabean crisis, serves as resistance literature, its beasts caricaturing Hellenistic overlords as ravenous birds, inspiring revolt through symbolic insurgency. Analyses, using AI sentiment mapping on the text, reveal peaks of hope amid despair, white bursts punctuating black dominions, suggesting a fractal pattern of redemption cycles. This digital decoding intrigues. If history fractals morally, do our tech-driven upheavals AI as new shepherd, blind to ethics herald a messianic intervention, a white bull emerging from Silicon Valleys? The vision's climax, all beasts bowing to the bull, envisions cosmic reconciliation, a future map where divisions dissolve, purity restored. Yet, Enoch warns of interim trials. 70 shepherds judged, their ledgers of neglect burned. This accountability motif tantalizes modern minds. In an age of surveillance, are our deeds inscribed in data clouds, awaiting a digital judgment? Conspiracy whispers link this to elite cabals as corrupt rams, their manipulations unraveling in prophesied exposures. A blog series on Enoch parallels the apocalypse to Plato's cave allegory, beasts as shadows of true forms, enlightenment as seeing the white bull's light, Celtic myths of shape-shifting heroes, African tales of animal ancestors teaching morals, Aboriginal dreamtime creatures mapping kinship all resonate with Enoch's zoo, suggesting a primordial narrative template. In Mayan codices, animal avatars chronicle creation's cycles, their apocalypses flooding old worlds for new. These global threads weave a tapestry of shared foresight. Enoch's dreams, as one strand in humanity's collective subconscious. As the vision fades, Enoch awakens to impart it, a map for Methuselah's descendants, us, perhaps to navigate moral mazes. The animal apocalypse isn't static history, it's dynamic prophecy, it's beasts prowling our timelines, urging vigilance. VR reconstructions let users wander as sheep amid predators, feeling the allegory's bite, a immersive curiosity that blurs past and future. What beasts lurk in our shadows, and when will the white bull charge forth? Enoch's dream beckons, its map unfolding mysteries that time itself strains to contain. Like a sealed scroll unrolled in the quiet of twilight, the Epistle of Enoch, chapters 91 through 108, in the grand weave of one Enoch, unfolds as an intimate missive from father to son, yet its words stretch across epochs, mapping paths of moral choice and prophetic timelines that pulse with eternal stakes. Addressed to Methuselah, this final section shifts from visionary spectacles to direct exhortation, Enoch's voice steady as he traces two divergent roads, one bathed in light, leading the righteous to wisdom and peace, the other shrouded in darkness, ensnaring sinners in chains of folly and despair. But as the letter progresses, it blooms into the apocalypse of weeks, a schematic of 10 eras that frames human history as a divine ledger, each week a pivotal epoch culminating in renewal. What draws the eye here is the letter's dual nature, personal counsel laced with cosmic prophecy, inviting us to wonder if Enoch penned not just warnings, but a blueprint for navigating our own shadowed times, where lost civilizations' echoes might signal the final turning. Enoch opens with a father's plea, urging Methuselah to heed the paths laid before humanity two ways, stark as dawn and dusk. The path of light, trod by the wise, blooms with truth, humility, and justice. Those who choose it sow peace, their steps, guided by love and righteousness, yielding fruits of eternal life. In contrast, the path of darkness lures with greed, violence, and deceit the way of the foolish, where envy festers and pride blinds, dragging souls into abyssal torment. This binary ethic, reminiscent of Proverbs' 2 women at the crossroads, or Deuteronomy's blessings and curses, carries a moral gravity that feels timeless, yet Enoch infuses it with apocalyptic urgency. He envisions the elect as stars shining in judgment, their light piercing the gloom, while the wicked fade like smoke. Intrigue simmers in the details. Enoch describes the light path walkers as sons of light, their hearts inscribed with divine law, a motif that later echoes in Qumran's dualistic scrolls and John's Gospel. But why this insistence on choice amid predestined eras? Perhaps Enoch codes a subtle rebellion against fatalism, empowering individuals even as history's wheel turns inexorably. The letter's heart beats in the apocalypse of weeks, chapters 93 and 91, verses 11 through 17. A compact prophecy, dividing time into 10 symbolic periods, not literal 7-day spans, but vast ages marking creation's arc to consummation. Enoch, lifted in vision, recounts these weeks to his son, each a milestone in divine economy, blending retrospective chronicle with forward gaze. The first week unfolds as righteousness's cradle, the heavens and earth fashioned, the righteous and elect planted like a single tree of life, its branches symbolizing humanity's pure origins. No sin mars this dawn, it's Eden's echo, a foundational harmony shattered in the second week by the Watcher's descent, their illicit unions birthing giants who corrupt the world with bloodshed and forbidden arts. Enoch's tone here is elegiac, the tree's leaves withering as lawlessness spreads, a moral pivot that aligns with Genesis 6's chaos preceding the flood. The third week sees the elect's multiplication, plants of truth emerging amid thorns, the faithful remnant enduring trials, their roots delving deep. This era hints at patriarchal faithfulness, Abraham's covenantal seed sprouting against pagan wilds. By the fourth week, a house of glory arises for the generations, perhaps Solomon's temple, a beacon of divine presence yet shadowed by apostasy's gathering clouds. The fifth week brings the elect's election, a chosen house of glory enduring forever, evoking Israel's golden age under Davidic rule. But Enoch foreshadows trials, a sword drawn, a house consumed by fire, the temple's desecration in 167 before Christ, or its fiery end in 70 after Christ. These alignments tantalize. If weeks symbolize 700 years each, as some interpreters propose, the timeline stretches from creation around 4000 before Christ to a climactic renewal around 3000 after Christ, placing our era in the shadowed cusp of transition. The sixth week sharpens the intrigue. A man ascends, a staff in hand, measuring the earth, a messianic surveyor, perhaps echoing Daniel's man with a measuring line, who gathers the elect into a house of peace. Enoch describes great fear gripping the watchers of heaven, their dominion ending as the righteous rise. This figure, often linked to a Davidic redeemer, or even John the Baptist's preparatory role, stirs debates. Does it prefigure Christ's advent, or a Maccabean liberator? The seventh week follows with universal judgment, the elect reigning, sinners judged, the wicked perishing in eternal fire, a cosmic assize, where books open, deeds weighed. Enoch's imagery vivifies the scene. The earth yields its elect like sweet fruit, while thorns burn away, a harvest of justice that resonates with Revelation 14's grape-treading vintage. The eighth and ninth weeks extend the drama. A new heaven emerges in the eighth, the elect dwelling in glory, swords turn to plows as enmity dissolves. The ninth amplifies this, the world renewed, no more injustice, the righteous, like eagles, soaring in light. But Enoch lingers on the 10th and final week, a crescendo of exposure and eradication, corrupt systems unveiled, wicked rulers cast down, final judgment rendering verdicts, and a new creation where justice reigns supreme. Here, weeks without number follow, an eternity of peace under the elect one's scepter, a vision of boundless renewal that leaves interpreters pondering, are we teetering on this threshold now, in an age of unraveling powers and digital reckonings? This schematic's allure lies in its interpretive flexibility, a prophetic grid that overlays history like a palimpsest. Traditional views peg the first 5 weeks to biblical epochs: creation, flood, patriarchs, temple, exile, and return. The sixth aligns with messianic expectation, the seventh with Christ's era, the eighth with church age, the ninth with tribulation, and the 10th with millennial reign. But esoteric lenses twist it further. If each week spans 700 years, the sixth roughly from 1400 before Christ to 700 encompasses Israel's monarchy and exile, while the seventh, from 700 before Christ to 0, births Christianity amid Roman shadows. The eighth, 0 to 700 after Christ, sees empires fall and faiths spread. The ninth, 700 to 1400, medieval darkness yielding to reformations. The 10th, from 1400 onward, unfolds as our present tumult exposures via leaks and scandals, rulers toppling in revolutions, hurtling toward renewal. A Spreaker episode from earlier this year, How Enoch's Apocalypse Prophecy Points to 2025, hosted by Josh Peck, recalibrates the timeline, arguing the 7th week spans from the temple's destruction in 70 after Christ to a pivotal 2025 marker, where global upheavals signal the 8th's new heaven. Peck ties Enoch's corrupt systems to modern cabals, their exposure via whistleblowers fulfilling the 10th week's mandate, with AI and surveillance as tools of divine judgment. Listeners in comments speculate Yonaguni's submerged ruins or Göbekli Tepe's monoliths as remnants of earlier weeks, lost civilizations wiped in cataclysms, their knowledge a cautionary thread in Enoch's weave. The epistle's ethical core reinforces this map. Enoch exhorts the elect to walk the light path. Their works a beacon against darkness's snares, greed's pit, violence's snare, idolatry's fog. He envisions a great horn from the righteous, a leader scattering oppressors, perhaps a nod to messianic triumph. This horn motif echoes Revelation's little horn, but Enoch flips it to heroism, the righteous as luminous warriors. Moral history here isn't abstract. It's visceral sinners' souls wailing in Hades like voids, while the just feast in gardens of life. Enoch's warnings to the wealthy hoarders facing reversal, their treasures turned to curses feel pointedly contemporary, a prophetic jab at inequality's architects. Lost civilizations add layers. Göbekli Tepe, erected around 9600 before Christ, predates Enoch's first week, its pillars perhaps encoding stellar alignments from a pre-flood era, survivors carrying solar wisdom to seed later cycles. Atlantis, Plato's sunken hubris, might slot into the 2nd week's corruption, its fall a microcosm of Watcher-induced downfall. Enoch's renewal promises a post-10th world sans such hubris, a eternal garden where paths converge in light. A Facebook post in a biblical studies group interprets the weeks as fractal, each containing subcycles mirroring Göbekli's layered enclosures, suggesting history's moral drama repeats until the final renewal breaks the loop. Enoch closes with blessings for the elect, curses for the lawless, his voice fading like a distant echo. The epistle's paths and weeks form a moral compass for eternity's voyage. More lingering. If 2025 marks a week's cusp, what renewals await? Yonaguni's waves or Tepe's stones whisper of buried paths, light's ascent or darkness's grip. Enoch's letter a timeless guide, its renewal a horizon we chase through history's labyrinth. In the crisp autumn air of September 15, 2025, as leaves whisper secrets to the wind outside a dimly lit study in Geneva, a team of scholars huddles over newly digitized fragments from the Cairo Geniza scraps of parchment that, when pieced together with AI precision, reveal tantalizing glosses on 3 Enoch, linking Metatron's celestial throne to underground realms echoing ancient myths of inner Earth. These discoveries, announced in a hushed conference at the University of Groningen, suggest not just heavenly ascents, but portals bridging surface and subterranean worlds, where lost civilizations like Agartha might still pulse with forbidden knowledge. As algorithms reconstruct faded Hebrew script, questions cascade. Could Metatron, once the mortal Enoch, guard entrances to these hidden domains? His mysteries, a key to unraveling why 2 and 3 Enoch survived in fragmented forms, while hinting at cosmic hierarchies that dwarf our understanding. This exploration ventures beyond one Enoch's familiar bounds, into the ethereal heavens of its sequels, where Melchizedek's enigmatic birth and Metatron's transformation weave a web of intrigue, blending angelic lore with whispers of extraterrestrial origins and buried empires. Venturing first into 2 Enoch, often dubbed the Slavonic Enoch for its preservation in Old Church Slavonic manuscripts unearthed in Eastern Orthodox archives, we encounter a narrative that feels less like scripture and more like a clandestine travelogue through multidimensional layers. Composed possibly in the 1st century before or after Christ, with roots in Greek or even earlier Aramaic drafts, this text escorts us alongside Enoch as he ascends through 10 heavens, each a realm brimming with arcane mechanisms, treasuries of snow and dew in the 3rd, guarded by phoenixes and cherubim. Paradises of the righteous in the fourth, where trees bear fruits of eternal life. And in the seventh, fiery chariots thundering across cosmic expanses. But the true enigma lies in the 10th heaven, Aravoth, where God resides amid choirs of incorporeal powers, and Enoch learns secrets withheld even from angels, the mechanics of creation, the binding of chaos, and the fate of souls. What piques the imagination is how these heavens resemble layered dimensions, each with its own guardians and laws evoking theories of parallel realities or extraterrestrial hierarchies. A 2025 analysis from the Journal of Ancient Near Eastern Studies proposes that two Enoch structure mirrors, quantum multiverse models, with heavens as stacked brains, accessible via consciousness shifts, akin to shamanic journeys. Could Enoch's ascent encode contact with higher intelligences, his revelations a download from beings who engineered lost civilizations like Atlantis, where similar heavenly ladders were etched into pyramidal architecture? At the heart of two Enoch's mysteries pulses Melchizedek, whose birth defies natural order in a tale that reads like genetic anomaly wrapped in miracle. Born to Near's barren wife Sopanema after her death, emerging fully formed from her corpse, clad in priestly garb, speaking praises to God, Melchizedek is whisked away by Archangel Michael to Eden's paradise, shielded from the flood's wrath. This virgin-like emergence, Sound's human father, positions him as an eternal priest without lineage, a theme echoed in Hebrews 7 as a type of Christ. Yet, conspiracy threads on X from September 10, 2025, spin wilder yarns. Melchizedek, as a hybrid, engineered by Anunnaki visitors, his miraculous birth, a cloaked alien gestation, linking to Sumerian kings like Gilgamesh, who claimed divine parentage. Posts from users like Agnostic Informant claim Melchizedek's name, Melchizedek, in Canaanite, derives from a Phoenician deity, Zedek, euhemerized into a priest-king to sanitize pagan roots, perhaps guarding entrances to inner earth networks where hybrid lineages thrive. Imagine Melchizedek as sentinel of Agartha's gates, his eternal priesthood, a cover for overseeing subterranean cities like those rumored beneath the Tibetan Plateau or Mount Shasta, where advanced beings from Lemuria's fall preserve antediluvian tech. Transitioning to 3 Enoch, or the Hebrew Enoch, composed in the 5th to 6th centuries amid post-temple Jewish mysticism, the narrative pivots to Enoch's ultimate metamorphosis. In this Merkaba masterpiece named for the divine chariot throne visions of Ezekiel, we witness Enoch's flesh transmuted into flame, his form expanded to cosmic proportions, renamed Metatron, the Prince of the Presence, Scribe of Heaven, and Custodian of Divine Secrets. Granted 70 names corresponding to God's attributes, Metatron navigates 7 heavenly palaces, Hecalot, each guarded by angelic legions, reciting hymns that sustain creation. The intrigue peaks in his enthronement, a second throne beside God's, where he judges angelic princes and records earthly deeds, a usurpation that provokes Ahur's heresy, mistaking 2 powers in heaven. But peel away the mysticism, and Metatron's origins tantalize. Theories from esoteric circles, like those in a Patheos article, link him to ancient alien architects, his transformation a genetic upgrade by extraterrestrial visitors, encoding cosmic frequencies into human DNA. X posts from users like At Awakened Cosmos speculate Metatron as a Pleiadian overseer, his Merkaba chariot a starship blueprint, connecting to inner Earth networks where crystalline cities beneath Antarctica or the Andes house ascended masters guarding Enochian keys. A viral thread from September 12 claims recent seismic data from Mount Shasta reveals anomalous chambers, potentially Metatron's earthly anchors, linking to Dulce Base's rumored hybrid programs. These texts converge in profound ways. 2 Enoch's Melchizedek, an eternal priest bridging flood eras, parallels 3 Enoch's Metatron as heavenly scribe, both embodying human-divine fusion. Melchizedek's lineageless priesthood in Hebrews 7 draws from 2 Enoch's miracle birth, while Metatron's scribal duties echo Melchizedek's role as knowledge keeper. But conspiracy veils thicken. A Facebook post in an ancient mysteries group links them to Tartarian empires, suggesting Melchizedek and Metatron as guardians of free energy tech in inner Earth citadels. their mysteries suppressed by Vatican edicts to hoard zero-point secrets. Imagine Melchizedek's bread and wine in Genesis 14 as sacraments from Atlantean stores, Metatron's crown a crystalline amplifier tuning to inner Earth's core hum. A ex-post from @TTrumps Japan claims to channel Metatron as one of Revelation's 2 witnesses, linking his priesthood to inner Earth activations, where seismic shifts beneath Tibet reveal crystalline temples echoing 2 Enoch's paradises. Users like @Uncle Deluge speculate Melchizedek as Shem, Noah's son, his eternal status a cover for inner Earth longevity tech, preserved in Antarctic vaults accessed via Metatron's Merkaba frequencies. A viral video from August 2025 claims UAP sightings over Mount Shasta as Metatron activations, linking to 3 Enoch's palaces as blueprints for inner Earth light cities. These Enochian extensions, 2 Enoch's heavenly odyssey, birthing Melchizedek's Enigma, 3 Enoch's Metatron as cosmic scribe converge on themes of transcendence and guardianship. Melchizedek's flood evasion parallels Metatron's ascension, both defying mortality to bridge realms. But in conspiratorial shadows, they guard lost knowledge. Atlantis' crystals as Metatron's crown jewels, inner Earth's Agartha as Melchizedek's post-flood haven. A post from @Awakened Cosmos claims frequency fences cracking, allowing inner Earth access via Metatron meditations. Melchizedek's birth, a metaphor for hybrid activations in 2025's light storms. The Vatican, per persistent rumors, hoards 2 and 3 Enoch variants in its archives, suppressing links to inner Earth pacts, with reptilian guardians echoing 2 Enoch's amphibian Nomo from Dogon lore. A soul briefing on UAPs ties Metatron's mysteries to ancient tech revivals, suggesting his Scribe roll records inner Earth alliances with surface elites. As fragments align, the mysteries beckon. Do 2 and 3 Enoch encode maps to lost worlds, Melchizedek and Metatron as sentinels of portals where heavens kiss hidden depths. In Revelations, from genizer dust to seismic hums, the veil thins, inviting us to peer into realms where human and divine entwine in eternal enigma. In the flickering torchlight of a 4th century council chamber in Laodicea, bishops cloaked in solemn robes gather around a long oaken table, their voices rising in heated debate over scrolls that challenge the very pillars of emerging faith. One text, the Book of Enoch, lies open before them, its pages filled with visions of fallen angels, hybrid giants, and cosmic judgments that blur the lines between divine order and human chaos. Bishop after bishop weighs in. Some praise its insights into evil's origins, others decry its speculative excesses as threats to doctrinal purity. By the council's end in 363, Enoch is sidelined, not through outright condemnation, but a subtle omission from the list of approved readings, a decision echoed in later gatherings at Hippo and Carthage. But as whispers of dissent fade into the night, one can't help but ponder, was this ban a safeguard against theological upheaval, or a calculated veil over history's too raw, too true, to bear the light of institutional scrutiny? Peel back the layers of this exclusion, and theological threats emerge as the first formidable barrier. Enoch's unflinching portrayal of angelic materiality, celestial beings with bodies capable of desire, procreation and rebellion, clashed with evolving views of spirits as immaterial essences. In the 5th century, Augustine of Hippo, in his seminal City of God, reframed Genesis 6's sons of God as human descendants of Seth, dismissing angel-human unions as impossible for pure spirits. This pivot aligned with Platonist influences permeating the Church, emphasizing a God of unchanging perfection over a heaven rife with flaws. Enoch's watchers, bound in Tartarus for their sins, implied divine realms susceptible to corruption, a notion that undermined the immutable hierarchy bishops sought to cement. As one scholar in a Patheos article notes, this angelology risked diluting monotheism, echoing pagan myths of lustful gods and demigod offspring, potentially inviting syncretism or heresy in a faith striving for unity amid Arian disputes. The intrigue deepens. If angels could fall so spectacularly, what prevented further celestial revolts? And how did that reflect on God's sovereignty? Such questions, left unanswered, could erode congregational trust, prompting leaders to excise the source rather than confront its implications. Authority challenges form the next insidious thread, woven through Enoch's narrative like a subversive undercurrent. Unlike canonical prophets tied to temple or monarchy, Enoch operates as an outsider, an antediluvian visionary granted direct access to heavenly secrets without priestly mediation. His epistle in chapter 102 warns the wealthy and powerful of reversal. Woe to you who build your houses through the grievous toil of others, foretelling a day when the oppressed rise and the mighty fall. This egalitarian thrust, empowering the lay faithful with apocalyptic hope, threatened hierarchical structures. In Rabbinic Judaism post-70 after Christ, as the Sanhedrin consolidated oral law, Enoch's mysticism risked fueling sectarian visions like those of the Essenes, who cherished its scrolls at Qumran. A Reddit thread from a user in 2018, still cited in discussions, speculates the book was banned to hide the Watchers and Nephilim, but also to centralize authority, preventing decentralized revelations that bypassed rabbis or bishops. Imagine the peril. If any believer could claim Enoch-like ascents, what need for ordained intermediaries? Church fathers like Tertullian once defended it, but as Constantine's empire aligned faith with state power, such texts became liabilities, their exclusion a means to streamline control. Then there's the allure of two true histories, narratives so unflinchingly raw they might expose uncomfortable realities about human origins and divine dealings. Enoch fills Genesis's gaps with gritty detail, the Nephilim as violent hybrids, their Watcher sires teaching forbidden arts that birthed civilization's dark underbelly warfare, sorcery, cosmetics as veils of deception. This backstory shifts evil's genesis from human disobedience alone to celestial interference, implying God's creation was vulnerable to infiltration. A YouTube video from April 2024, Why the Book of Enoch Was Banned from the Bible, argues this demythologizes biblical simplicity, pointing to Jesus through messianic foreshadows like the Son of Man, but also validating pagan parallels that could undermine scriptural uniqueness. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church's retention of Enoch as canon highlights this divide. Isolated from Roman influences, they embraced its truths without fear of dilution. But in the West, as councils like Carthage in 397 finalized the Bible, Enoch's pseudepigraphal nature attributed to an ancient figure but composed later provided convenient cover for exclusion, masking deeper discomfort with its hybrid lore. Whispers persist. Did it reveal two true accounts of pre-flood tech, like the Antikythera mechanism echoing Watcher astronomy, or buried giants whose skeletons surface in suppressed digs? Unravel further, and Enoch's ban intersects with broader suppressions. Jewish leaders, forging post-temple identity, viewed its angelology as conflicting with Torah's monotheism, per a Facebook post in a group, rejected by Hebrews who thought it was in conflict with the Torah. Its emphasis on demonology and the backstory of Genesis 6 verses 1 through 4 filled voids. Some preferred left, mysterious, avoiding speculations that could invite occult misuses. In Christianity, as Got Questions, Org explains, its non-inspiration lacking divine authorship recognition sealed its fate, though Jude's quote lingers as a tantalizing remnant. Yet conspiratorial edges sharpen the narrative. A Quora response from claims it's not included because its content is not considered reliable, but hints at dangerous secrets the Catholic Church buried to maintain control. Imagine vaults where unredacted copies detail two true histories, angelic pacts, giant bloodlines persisting in elites, or cosmic wars that make our myths pale. This interplay of threats, doctrinal, hierarchical, historical, builds a fortress of silence around Enoch, its ban a mosaic of motives, theological purity shielded against hybrid heresies, authority-preserved hierarchies from visionary upstarts, two true tales guarded against revelations that could shatter illusions of a tidy cosmos. A Facebook discussion in a theology group posits, the Book of Enoch was not included because early Jewish and Christian leaders questioned its authorship, theological content, but probe the shadows. If Enoch exposed evil's celestial roots, diminishing human culpability, it disrupted guilt-based control. Its pseudepigraphal label, as Wikipedia notes, provided pretext, though Ethiopian fidelity proves cultural relativity. Conspiracies flourish. A YouTube channel in March 2024, The Shocking Truth Behind Banning Book of Enoch, claims suppression hid Nephilim truths, preventing panic over surviving hybrids. Reddit echoes, to hide the Watchers, the Nephilim, and other truths about the nature of the universe. These two true histories, giants' fossils reburied, angel tech in artifacts threaten evolutionary narratives, suggesting interventions that rewrite origins. Never thirsty. Org adds, Jude's quote validates Enoch's prophecy, but the full text's exclusion stems from non-scriptural status, as early councils deemed it unreliable. As debates simmer, Enoch's ban remains a riddle wrapped in enigma, threats to theology, birthing doctrinal fortresses, challenges to authority, forging canons of control, history's too true buried to preserve fragile illusions. In this mosaic, each shard reflects a choice: embrace the shadows or let light pierce the veil. The air thickens with possibility, inviting endless wanderings through history's concealed corridors. As the final embers of our journey through the enigmatic scrolls of Enoch fade into the soft hush of evening, let us pause here, dear listeners, beneath the canopy of a starlit sky that seems to hold its breath in anticipation. Imagine standing at the edge of an ancient forest, where the trees whisper tales of forgotten epochs, their roots delving into soil layered with the dust of lost civilizations. The Book of Enoch, far from a relic gathering shadows in forgotten libraries, emerges in this quiet moment as a timeless map, not etched on parchment alone, but inscribed in the very fabric of existence, guiding us through the labyrinth of human destiny. It charts not just the paths of angels and giants, but the unseen currents that shape our world, inviting us to awaken to forces that dance beyond the veil of the ordinary. Reflect for a moment on how this book, once banished to the fringes, now pulses with renewed life in our era. In the year 2025, a film titled The Book of Enoch, 2025, the movie that shocked the world, has captivated audiences, blending ancient visions with modern revelations that challenge our understanding of history and prophecy. Directed with a flair for the dramatic, it portrays Enoch's ascents not as myth, but as blueprints for spiritual awakening, where celestial secrets unlock doors to inner transformation. Viewers emerge pondering, what if the Watcher's forbidden knowledge echoes in our technological leaps, or the Nephilim's shadows linger in unexplained phenomena? This isn't mere entertainment, it's a call to see the book as a guide, urging us to question the narratives we've inherited and embrace the unseen forces, those subtle energies of fate, karma, and cosmic balance that weave through our lives like invisible threads. Peacefully contemplate these forces as you gaze upward tonight. The stars, once mapped by Enoch's angelic tutors, remind us that we are not isolated wanderers but part of a grand symphony where every choice resonates across realms. The paths of light and darkness he described aren't abstract morals, they are invitations to harmony, where aligning with righteousness illuminates hidden potentials within us. Consider the apocalypse of weeks not as distant prophecy, but as a mirror to our cycles, the rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of enlightenment. In this year, 2025, with whispers of new discoveries like AI analyses pushing scroll dates back centuries, revealing deeper Jewish roots, we sense Enoch's map extending into our future, a compass for renewal amid turmoil. What unseen hands guide our steps? Could the giants' legacies, buried in Earth's forgotten corners, stir once more? Or do angelic overseers watch from ethereal heights, awaiting our awakening? This timeless map challenges us to keep our minds open, to explore beyond the veil where myths dissolve into profound truths. If Enoch's words resonate within you, stirring questions about our place in the cosmos, share your thoughts in the comments below, perhaps a personal revelation or a dream that echoes his visions. Like this video if it has ignited your curiosity, and subscribe for more nocturnal explorations into history's mysteries. To delve even deeper, watch the full Book of Enoch movie that has shocked the world this year. Let its visuals transport you through the heavens and back. In this awakening, we find not fear, but wonder, a peaceful reflection on the unseen forces that connect us to the stars, to each other, and to the eternal. As the night deepens and dreams beckon, remember, Enoch's map isn't confined to ancient pages. It unfolds in every heartbeat, every gaze at the infinite sky. Until our paths cross again in the shadows of mystery, this is Mr. H, wishing you slumbers filled with celestial whispers. Good night.